Sadistic Penguin Studios presents the At the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.
And Tony Chalsa Burt.
I don't know this industry jargon, YP, MP, whatever, okay? All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes.
It's almost time, so grab a drink, get your popcorn ready, and join the film discussion with two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the At the Show podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Yumper Garcia, and with our other co-host, Tony the Sugar Baggy Burt. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good. Glad to be back and talk some movies tonight.
Yes, sir. We've had a hiatus due to work on my end. You had some stuff that went on, so it was an equal situation. But we are back for the month of December. And yes, Brian, penguins can read. And we're back with some films where we talk about that were actually books and became films that were successful. We all know that I always have the line, I like the book better than the movie. Some of these movies I actually like better than the book. One of them isn't a natural. But with Tone, my man, it's been a few weeks. How you doing, man? How's everything going with Tony?
It's going good. Going into December and feeling pretty good. Besides the fact that I've been up since 3:30 this morning. Sophia got up, and then I said I have an option: lay in bed for 45 minutes till 5, or just get up and start my day, get to my job early, get things done. That's what I've been doing. I even grocery shopped right after work. An hour worth of grocery shopping. So I am pumped and primed and ready to talk some movies.
Did you, when you grocery shop, did you grocery shop like you were really, really hungry?
No. Well, no, because unfortunately I already predetermined what I was eating at home tonight. So it's like, and also I kind of had like like one of those healthy shakes right before. So I don't, but I usually don't grocery shop. I usually like to go eat lunch and then go grocery shopping because, like you said, I know where you were going probably with this is that. And I am that guy. I would hungry buy a lot of things that I would eat, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
As Brian says, grocery shopping hungry will lead to bankruptcy these days. That is true. But I have gone grocery shopping when hungry, and I just buy so much shit that I don't even eventually eat later. It just sits there, which is waste of money. I know. Shout out to that Mars Attacks. Is that a light up the display behind you?
It sure is. I was trying to fiddle with it and get the new light bulbs in there, but they did not make it today. But next time they will. That is original from 1996 from the movie.
Nice.
To be fair, Yump, if we ever do have our own cool Penguin Studios, I got like a lot of Mars Attacks goodies. Let's just put it that way, which is not a lot of people do. So it's kind of cool.
I actually saw a girl. I follow a tattoo artist from New York. He does a lot of comic book style tattoos, really, really sharp, like really nice. I mean, they're too nice to where I think like after years they'll probably fade away. But a girl got a Mars Attack of the woman with the chewing gum.
Oh,
she got where half her face ripped off. I thought it was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, that's awesome, man. Mars Attacks.
We love it down here at the show podcast.
Yes, sir. But let's get into our first segment, my friend, and go into what we have been watching. We've been watching a lot of stuff this these past 3 weeks, but let's go into what we've been watching that we had up on the sheet there.
That's a me. And also, what were you just watching?
So what are you watching this week, my man?
All right. This week I watched two movies. Both of them are streaming if you're interested in watching. First is Eddington. That's currently on HBO Max or whatever it will be here soon. And it's in some Oscar contention. Now, the reason I wanted to see this movie was that this movie, the director has done some other movies that I was kind of fond of, like Hereditary. I think that's what it was. The horror movie was Hereditary. The one
Heredity,
with,
I think.
yeah, Heredity. That's what it is. And he's also did like a couple other ones, but this one I was very interested in seeing because it had Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal, who's hot in a whole lot of different movies right now. Currently, his career's blowing up. So I was curious to see what this was. I enjoyed it quite a lot, to tell you the truth, and I'm curious to see what kind of Oscars it gets. It's pretty much like a COVID nightmare, I guess you could describe the movie. And Joaquin Phoenix plays a character that is probably the direct opposite of who he is in real life to a pretty good T. And even Emma Stone is really good in it, and she's been popping up in quite a few things recently. So if you have not seen this one, I definitely suggest checking it out.
Yeah, I have not seen it. I will check it out. Emma Stone, I have soured on her. Not because of her, it's mostly because the Oscar no, thing that kind of made me mad. But I am a fan of her. I don't hate on her. I just still kind of pissed about that.
Honestly, I'll
check
be
it out.
honest with you that I don't even like that movie she was in. So like, I just, this new one she's in, she's supposedly really, really good in. But this movie, she isn't as prominent as Joaquin is. Joaquin is like, if it's a pie, Joaquin's like 50 pie. Pascal's like 35, and she might be like 10. And there's some other supporting characters that are like the guy from Yellowstone is in it. I think you would enjoy it, and I know that by the time we get around to our Oscar show, you probably will have watched it. So, out of the ones I've seen coming, check it out if you can. Now, this brings me to my next film here, Yumper, and I am very, very, very angry right now. No, I'm not that angry. I'll be honest with you. I'm not that mad, but I was when I watched this movie. I'll tell you, I think this is the worst movie of the year. I'll just throw that right out there, or the worst movie that I have seen in a long time. Now, I already kind of knew what was going to happen in the movie, which that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is it was just really bad. Like, the acting is bad. Love Hewitt doesn't show up for a while. It's just not good. And there's something with the camera work that makes it look like Temu version of a Netflix bad flick that you've never wanted to watch. So if you're looking to watch it and get mad, maybe you should check it out.
I probably won't watch it just because I don't need to get mad anymore. The thing is, now that you say this about I Know What You Did Last Summer and it didn't get, I have not read any reviews on it. I don't usually go read the reviews right away unless we're doing something or I'm watching the film. After I watch the film, I did, however, see that Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2 got bad reviews. But my answer to that hysteria was, what did you expect? Five Nights at Freddy's Part 1 wasn't that great either. So I mean,
well, yeah,
it wasn't gonna be a masterpiece.
But like they're saying, and this is where it gets ridiculous, they're saying that this movie makes the awful Five Nights at Freddy's 1 20 times lower than that. So like that's kind of scary when you really think about it. But you know what? That's just kind of how it all goes. You know, sometimes once you see, I'm not going to give anything away, and you see the plot, it really just kind of throws away the other movies. It's kind of stupid. But maybe that's just me, and maybe I just wasn't but I'll be honest with you, I can defend all the, as I know you don't like especially I think you said the last one, the Scream movies, and I'm not a huge fan of those movies, but this movie made even the worst Scream movie look like Academy Award winning, which is really scary to say out loud.
That kind of sucks for our girl, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
But she honestly, I'm excited, and I'll be fair with you, there's going to be a sequel. Because at the very end, after blah, 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 and everything, Jennifer Love Hewitt knocks on a door, and Brandy opens up.
Oh.
Brandy was in Part 2. And
was she sitting in her room?
No, it was like she was like older at a house, and it was just really ridiculous. Oh yeah, this song, I got you. It got me there. But Jennifer Love Hewitt, honestly, to not give it away, I think the problem was she wasn't in it. She wasn't in it for like an hour and 15 minutes, and that's bad. And same with Freddie Prinze. So what you were left with was like the leftover cast that didn't get cast in Riverdale, who's now all grown up. And so, but maybe I'm just really harsh on this. I don't think I've ever been as harsh on a movie on the show before, but just maybe I wanted to know if maybe I'm wrong. So maybe if you ever do meet somebody who has seen this movie, maybe they could tell me the good things about it, and I'll give it another chance.
I'll see what my brother thought of it. He probably agrees with you.
We'll see. We'll see.
Brian's never seen the original. What are you waiting for, Brian?
Yeah, don't miss it. It's great.
So I watched a plethora of films. This one I watched repeatedly, and that's because of my 9-year-old, and that is Hotel Transylvania 3. He's discovered the Hotel Transylvania movies, and we've watched all of them, and he was on a kick for Hotel Transylvania 3 repeatedly. So I didn't really, I know these movies came out. I really had no reason to see it. I mean, I'm not really into animated movies that much until I had my son. So I watched them. They're pretty funny for the kids stuff. They're entertaining. As with any parent that has seen a film that their child likes, their child kind of beats that film to death, especially if they like them. But I'm almost there with the series. Almost. Not quite. He's going back into Pokemon right now, so we're kind of taking a break from it. But I really enjoyed this film the first time I saw it. What do you think about the Hotel Transylvania series, my friend?
Honestly, I think it's amazing. I am a huge Hotel Transylvania. I don't, as you just stated, I'm not a big animated fan. But let's say in the last 10 years, 11 years, I think I went with before I even had Sophia, me and Katie would go with my sister and like the whole family and everyone. We went and saw Hotel Transylvania 1. And I don't know if maybe I just was in the right headspace, but I laughed. To me, thinking of what's the word I'm looking for? Thinking of Buscemi playing the werewolf with the little kids. I think of him, and honestly, just a little 1 second detour. I have done nothing but watch Sopranos since our last episode, so I feel like I'm even more. But back to Buscemi, is that he is awesome in this. The voice acting is great. I had never seen with Christmas around the corner. I'd never seen Eight Crazy Nights. Is that what it's called with Sandler?
Yeah.
Katie showed me that movie. And honestly, for what it is, it's okay. It's not terrible. And these movies, I'm glad they're growing on you because the second one isn't terrible. And I like this movie. You know why? Because I like Grandpa on the boat. I mean, when you got Mel Brooks playing Grandpa, the Dracula on the boat, that's incredible writing. And I hope they keep coming out with these.
Yeah, they're entertaining. This is kind of like, it reminds me of Grown Ups, but animated with the Hollywood monsters.
There we go.
All his friends are a character, which is funny.
That's true.
But yeah, they're enjoyable. If you haven't seen them, check them out. I recommend them. I gave it like a little crap saying my kid wore them out, but I mean that's just any parent. Like I've told the story before, but my brother, when I was growing up, he watched the film Pinocchio. Like, put this way, he watched it so many times. Like, I would go to school and he would be sitting watching Pinocchio. I would come back from school and it'll be on the same part, meaning he watched that movie so much it literally ended up on the same spot. Like, he wore that damn VHS out. I was so sick of Pinocchio. But that's just a kid thing. Once they get into stuff, they want to watch it like all the time. My son went through the Minecraft stuff. Yep. See, kiddo's favorite is 3 right now. So now he's watching the third one. But it's cool. It's all about great parts about being a parent and finding new stuff.
That's true. Currently right now, Sophia's into the Home Alone movies.
Oh.
Now, what's really great is she likes 1, 2, and 4. And I'm like, why don't you like 3 and 5? And she's like, I don't know. 4 though is she likes, and 4 is god awful. French Stewart takes the place of
There's a
Daniel
Home Alone
Stern.
5.
Yeah, it was right to HBO 2020,
The
2021.
Holiday Heist. Oh my
Yes.
god. I
Not
didn't even know that.
not great, but again, when you just stated you have children, you have to watch these movies and play along. And I go, wow, I can't wait to watch this with you again. And
Yeah, Debbie Mazur's in it, which is kind of funny. She's actually in the new Running Man.
But just before we go on, we were having dinner, and I kind of got yelled at by Katie because I was watching The Sopranos while having dinner. But Sophia was at the table, but she was like facing not the television, and Christopher was getting a lap dance. And I was like, I had to turn it off really quick. But that's sometimes my other parenting style is I got my show on that I love, and that's going on.
Ben usually takes control of the TV, so I'll watch stuff on my phone. Sometimes there's like swearing. I have to turn it off because it's like Jen's like, "Do you hear that? Turn it down." But yeah, life of a parent, man.
I know
But,
that's what it is.
That's what we watched this week. Let us know what you watched over at the Athlete Show Pod on X, or you can let us know on Facebook at Sadistic Penguin Studios or in the YouTube comments. We got a lot of news to get to this week. We are bursting at the belt, I guess. Is it bursting at the belt? I don't know. I'm not a person with sayings. But we got a lot of damn news. The first being that the Stranger Things Season 5 Part 1 kicked off on November 26th. Netflix released it during the Thanksgiving week so it can get the most views. I believe it's gotten over 52 million downloads or streams since its release. Tone, did you watch any other Stranger Things Season 5?
Yes, I have.
Thoughts?
Too little, too late.
You know what? I would agree with you. After the first episode, I thought that they kind of lapsed too much time between the last thing. I found myself getting more into it in the last 2 episodes than I did the first 2. I did like certain aspects of it, but I'm not going to say the show's bad or anything. I still enjoy the show. I just think that a lot of the luster or a lot of the mystique of it was kind of fade a little bit because they waited too long to release this season.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. Would you also agree that the writing didn't match the characters and where they actually are in their own age? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you made it even further along. You know what I mean? If you were going to wait as long as you did, they're still trying to play a younger character. But I'll tell you what I told my sisters. I really agree that people love the show. I'm glad everyone's watching it. By no means is it anywhere near what I was talking about. I Know What You Did Last Summer, but as Brian said here, this is the vibe I'm getting. The kids are sold. They're collecting Social Security, and then some of their acting is to be desired. But you know what? It's part of the whole shtick, and I get it.
Yeah,
good music in the show.
Very, very good music. I mean, the whole series has very, very good music.
It does.
Yeah, they're 23-year-olds playing 14, 15-year-olds. So, I mean, what are you going to do? I am looking forward to the last episode. Now, Netflix is going to be releasing their new episode the 31st in select theaters. So you can buy, from what I've read, most of the theaters are actually sold out already for that. But they're going to be doing it simultaneously by releasing it also on Netflix. So you don't have to go out. It's just more of a way to enjoy it in the theater. Me and Jen are going to be watching it from home because we are homebodies. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a 2-hour long finale. That's
pretty loaded.
Yeah, so we'll see how it ends. Maybe I'll scream about it when after it airs. I was thinking about doing Stranger Things again, the Stranger Things little mini show, but I just don't have time right now to do it. But I will bring it up every once in a while when we talk about our news and rumors and stuff.
Sounds good.
Another thing that happened was the Fallout Season 2 actually came out with a clip today that was released showing them in the giant dinosaur, which is a staple in Fallout 3 and 4. It's an area where there's these like it's kind of like Pee Wee Herman's, and when he goes in the dinosaurs, it's kind of like that area. And she's actually in there, and she's hanging. What's his name's character? The ghoul. She's hanging him. I know that sounds horrible, but it's like he's not dead or anything. Well, I mean, he's kind of dead. But it's the release is December 17th, Tone. Now, did you finally get to see the Fallout series?
I did. I watched a couple episodes actually when it first got released. I didn't finish it. Not because I didn't think it was any good, but those type of shows, because I didn't play the video game, I'm not like, fully invested. But I can see where even in these new commercials for the new one, I stop and I watch, and I could see the promise to what they're trying to do, but I don't know. Is it any good?
I really enjoyed the first season.
Okay.
Reason being, I played all the games going back to Fallout 1. I was a geek with that. Fallout 3, I loved that game. I was so excited when Fallout 4 got released. I kind of tapered down like my playing of video games in general, but when Fallout 76 came out, I bought the game. I couldn't get into it like with the other ones, but I still love the series. I still like uploads a place like it was like one of my games growing up, as I grew up with, and in my 20s I liked it. So I do enjoy the series. I think the acting is really, really corny, which is what it's supposed to be. That's kind of like how it is in the games. It's supposed to be like kind of like break the fourth wall, to be pushing that corniness. But I think they do a great job. I think Walter Goggins does a great job. I think Ellie does a great job as the main character. And it's kind of cool that they're bringing this world to life. I'm kind of happy they're doing it now with more technology and more possibility to have all those parts of sets and whatnot that would have looked sucky if they did it back in the day. With
True.
not a big budget and not a great vision. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to season 2. I will definitely be watching that in 2 weeks.
I just got my Amazon subscription back yesterday because I got so many subscriptions, and I don't even watch them half the time. So I'm like trying to figure out which ones to have. And then the football game was on last night, and I'm like, why am I not watching this? I need to watch this. So I got Amazon back. So I'll definitely be tuning in, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. To go with that, Avatar Fire and Ash is releasing on December 19th. This will be the third film in 5 of the Avatar series. I'm going to be honest with you, Tone. I could care less about this film. I didn't watch the second one, the water. I tried watching that, and I could not get into it. I enjoyed the first Avatar. I think I mostly enjoyed it because of the experience in the theater, because it was seen in 3D. It was something new. I thought the story was awesome. I saw it a few times at the place I worked with, and then I saw it on my own. It was great, but not something I never really went back to. I love James Cameron for his innovative techniques he uses to wait for new film techniques to come out with cameras and new technology to come out to put his vision out there. It just doesn't interest me. Does it interest you?
Well, I think it would interest me if they would have went with the original title, Avatar, Diarrhea and Ass, because that's pretty much what this is going to be. I'm just not. I honestly, I'll never forget seeing it in the movie theater, and how do I say this? And enjoying it so much, and then like getting the DVD and watching it at home, and never feeling so like this is not as cool as it was when we were at the theater. And that's pretty much, it was a movie theater experience. It's just kind of, I think at this point, let's be honest with one another here. When did the first one come out? What year? 2000 and
I think it came out 2000. I think in 2009.
2009. So let's be honest with each other. Time has passed 3 times more than in Stranger Things. How can I be invested? And these aren't human characters. These are blue people. That's not for me. And if it's like Silver Surfer, I mean, this is a character that's been around for 50, 60 years. People are familiar, but no one's familiar with it. Let's be honest with one another real quick. Whenever someone says, hey, you see Avatar? They go, the one with the blue people? That's every person I've ever talked to. That's what they say. Because the other one's The Last Airbender. Obviously.
Yeah, it's either that one, The Last Airbender. I hear a lot.
But everyone's like, which one? The one with the blue people? So that's what it's called. No, I don't want to see it. I'm not interested.
But and a good segue of this is supposedly James Cameron has come out recently and said that he has written another Terminator film. He's in the process of writing, like fleshing out everything, but he has written a script for it.
Terminator
he
6.
wants to fine tune it. What
That's
do you think about that? I like Dark Fate. I know a lot of people did not. I did. The only thing that I kind of pushed back a little bit was the killing of John Connor in the beginning. I think they could have like elaborated on that a little bit more. But I know why he did it, because it was more focused on Sarah's character. This one, I think, I don't know how they're gonna go, because I don't think Arnold's coming back, and plus Arnold's 80 years old. It'll be kind of cool if they went with the more of the future, kind of like Salvation.
They could go with one of his sons. They kind of look like. I mean, you could start doing. I mean, this is the world we're living in. You know what I mean? Like, get somebody who looks just like him, and because when they did some of the other movies without Arnold, like Total Recall, you know. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, because I do, like I said, James Cameron is like one of the best directors of my lifetime. Very, very creative mind, like especially in sci-fi. He put sci-fi on the map, along with John Carpenter for sci-fi horror with The Thing, and he did Terminator, and then he did Aliens, which some people would consider a better film than the original, which we'll get a lot of pushback about that. I think they're both equally great, but Terminator is a staple in the sci-fi community. The sequel is considered one of the best sequels of all times.
Yeah, definitely.
And it has Robert Patrick in there.
Oh, the great Robert Patrick.
They should have gone with the original idea for the villain in T2, Billy Idol. Nah. Robert Patrick was good, man.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Stacchino. He got busted out. He got busted out in Sopranos too.
And we'd never be able to say his brother's the singer in Filter.
That's true.
Richard Patrick.
With that, though, going into more big news that broke the last 2 days, Netflix has shocked the world and paid over $80 billion for Warner Brothers. Now, they will be taking over if this deal goes through. If the DOJ does not cancel it, they'll be taking over the Warner Brothers property, meaning they will own all the Warner Brother media, including HBO Max. Now, Tone, when I was working today, I usually throw on like podcasts, usually mostly political or stuff that's going on, I listen to in the world. One particular podcast I was listening to, they're movie buffs like us. They're more politically targeted, but they were talking about this, and they were going a little apeshit about how this is such a horrible deal, and this could possibly kill theaters because Netflix is a shitty, idea. And I'm like, and these people are a lot younger than me and you. And to me, I don't really know how I feel about this deal. I don't feel angry or relieved one way. The only, I guess, thing I can say about being a little bit relieved is maybe they merge all this into one thing, and I can get my HBO movies on my Netflix subscription, so I can cancel that HBO Max shit and just have it one big thing.
HBO Max, it looks a whole lot better than Netflix does, though.
Yeah, if they do their they update their software, whatnot. But I mean, Paramount was going to buy it too, so it's either or. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think it's going to kill the movie industry. Netflix does churn out good product. I mean, they did Stranger Things as a series, yes, but they also did Mindhunter. They're also talking about making a film on Mindhunter. They did The Harder They Fall, which is a great film. They have some good Netflix originals that are out there in terms of films. They're just a streaming service.
But though, I'll be honest with you, you could, and I usually don't butt in, and I apologize. Those movies don't usually, what's the word I'm looking? Those are good movies.
Mm-hmm.
But like, isn't what's like some of the Warner Brothers greatest? I mean, how long's Warner Brothers been around? You know what I mean? 100
Very
years.
long time.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you're getting all of the cartoons. You're getting it all. And
Big Bang Theory.
The problem is If you're going in any kind of direction, if you have a problem, let's say over here, and we don't like these people because they don't know how to run, let's say, a store,
Mhm.
but then we say, hey, they're going to take over even more, put more on their plate. Their site crashes. HBO's been doing live since I'll never forget. I was a kid, that was like the coolest thing. So it's like maybe they'll get all their equipment, which is what I was hearing today,
Mhm.
because they also own CNN. So like you're gonna get a whole lot of different things going on here. And what I've heard is that it's more not good for like competing business because they're like a conglomerate owning quite a lot.
Yeah,
But I don't know
and
all this stuff though.
that's what I'm saying too. But in terms of I don't think the movie theaters are gonna go bye-bye. Now, I do think movie theaters are they're dwindling down. And it has to do, I think, with the experience. It has to do also, people are like these days don't have enough money. It's expensive to go to see the movies. I mean, it's $19-20 for just adults for a ticket. Uh, and I'm not saying like I'm blessed to afford that, but there's certain people who could barely afford food on the table, let alone go see a movie. And then
That's true. That's
uh, so it might be easier to pay that subscription of $20 a month, use that $20 for the month to watch what they want at home than to go see a movie. And probably don't even have the subscription service either. But I don't think it's gonna do that. There's the scary part that people are saying is Netflix won't invest a big budget in films going forward. And I don't necessarily think that's true. I think if they see something that
yeah.
pushes them to release theoretical on the theaters that can make them money, they're gonna go for it because that money always talks. And
Those
that's so we just have to play it by ear and see what happens. Uh, I'm not a big fan of monopolies, but what am I going to do now? I mean, what we
we
gonna
have
do?
no control in what's going to
Yeah,
happen. So why
yeah,
let it ruin our day? But the problem is that if somewhere down the line I'm not getting as quality because they picked it up, that's probably when I'll complain a little bit more.
yeah. The quality has to be met to the standard. Now, I totally agree with you on that. We have to have good quality if you're going to do a streaming service, and that's one of the issues I had with when the WWE Network came out. It's supposed to have such great stat, and then it would like freeze on me, and I'm like, what the fuck? But that's here, there. That's done. I mean, it doesn't have the network's not even on anymore. Now they're doing ESPN, which I'm not gonna buy. Are you
Well,
gonna
when
buy
you
that?
watch a show real quick, like Sopranos,
Mhm.
um, and I know we love Sopranos, but like Stranger Things doesn't sniff Soprano socks when it
Mm-mm.
comes to a good show. So like the problem is that's like if Stranger Things is one of the benchmark shows on Netflix, and this is who's taking over the show department. But in true fair, HBO hasn't put out the greatest show since The Sopranos either. But they still put on quality work. They still put on better quality shows.
I would say that like there's other shows on Netflix. I would think Mindhunter would probably be the standard. That's just my personal opinion, and that's
But
because I
you
love Mindhunter.
can't take a show with only 2 seasons and say
Mm.
this is a benchmark. Sopranos ran 7, you know what I mean? 6 feet
Mhm.
under 6. Curb Your Enthusiasm 15, 16, 17. Veep 8. I mean, those are numbers, and all those shows cleaned house at the Emmys. Like
Well, I
that
mean, House of Cards did for
House Card's good. I'll give you House of Cards.
Homeland was a big one.
Homeland was actually on Showtime, but that's not here.
Pinky
The point.
Blinders. You know what I mean? I mean,
There we go.
it,
Peaky Blinders.
it
But
has its like it
but
hits
would
and
you was
misses.
Peaky Blinders Game of Thrones level? No.
I never watched Game of Thrones, so I couldn't really tell you.
But not if you watched it, the numbers of people watching the show. And you know what the numbers were for Game of Thrones because people watched that show a lot. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions.
Mhm.
Just put in finale and see how many people watched it. And then Peaky Blinders, people watch Peaky Blinders, but they're different numbers. And that's what's the problem. But when you do all this and you come together, maybe they're getting the same people. You know what I mean? Like if I was buying HBO and I was Netflix, wouldn't you take their people too who know what they're doing so they keep knowing what they're doing? I wouldn't just put randos in charge. So maybe that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I hope they pump out stuff with the HBO team
Yeah, there we go.
that can help them while mixing in their own team. Like
Yeah.
I liked the Queen's Gambit, I liked
Yeah.
Squid Games, I liked Adolescence. I would like them to do something cool. But we'll see. We just have to give it time. I mean, time will tell.
That's true.
Now, something that does piss me off is this news that came out a few days ago. And let me start by saying this: Quentin Tarantino. We've done shows on him. I've done one of my earliest shows of this podcast was Tarantino films, and I've called him the king of dialogue. I think he is a phenomenal director. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, writer and scripts for dialogue, and until maybe his last other films. But he's, there's a standard, and he's above that standard in terms of writing dialogue. His love for and passion for film is what always brought me in to be a Tarantino fan. But he says a lot of stupid shit. And I think this is just me talking, and I've talked to other people about this, but my personal opinion is a lot of what Quentin Tarantino, a lot of his greatness has kind of gotten to his head. He's not humble. And I understand people are asking him his opinion on things, but there's also things that you shouldn't be saying. You should have some class and look at it as when you were an actor, or because he's not the greatest actor. He's not he's a great director, not the greatest actor. He sucks as an actor. I'm sorry. He does. And one of the things that really made me mad about him was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, how he kept saying Bruce Lee was a horrible person. He injured his stuntmen. He claimed that he took it from Bruce Lee's wife's biography, which turned out to be untrue. There's actually interviews with Jackie Chan saying that Bruce Lee took care of his stuntmen. Jean LaBelle even said Bruce Lee was a great guy, which is the Brad Pitt's character was based off. Shannon Lee came out and told him.
Well, let's get to what you're trying to get to here. You're going off the beat, and you're getting off the beat. Yeah, you are. You're talking about Bruce Lee, and you're bringing up all that stuff.
Yeah,
let's talk about what he said.
I haven't talked for 3 weeks. It has to do with what we're talking about here. But it goes into
really. Yeah, we'll get to why. But go on, finish. Then I guess I'll get to speak.
No, it goes on to what he said there. That's what pissed me off first.
A lot of people said John Lennon was an asshole, and a lot of people said that John Lennon was the greatest person of all time.
He was an asshole.
So you're telling me everyone that Bruce Lee worked with, he was a super nice guy. You can't tell me that, because even the nicest guys in the world, there's going to be people who say you're an asshole. Now, I don't know that. I know Tarantino's an asshole, and I don't even agree with what he said.
But you're saying I'm not saying anybody. I'm saying he had his stunt people that worked for him.
Every single stunt person that worked for BruceLee through all of his team thought he was great. What?
He had a team. Yes, his stunt people. He took care of his stunt people. His team. He had a team specifically for a stunt. That's what I'm talking about.
He had a different team when he was on the Green Hornet. Okay, he had a different team when he was on before all of that. Now, if you're talking about the last 3, 4, 5 movies, yeah. He had a team.
Yeah, the Bruce Lee team.
But not the movies before that. So what I'm saying is what we don't know is the whole entire story.
Well, does Tarantino don't know either.
Tarantino doesn't bring. You don't get to bring a movie all the way up to that. And people don't actually agree to that, like Brad Pitt. You can't tell me that a whole movie agrees to it, to a movie, to the scene. Everyone goes and sees it. And then all of a sudden, after the fact, someone comes out and says that he made it up and it wasn't true. And now all of a sudden, that's what we're running on. Now, I could say Tarantino's an asshole, and I am pissed because Paul Dano is one of my favorite actors of all time. So Tarantino is on my shit list. But when you talk about the Bruce Lee stuff, I agree with you. If it's not true, it's not true. But I can't believe that everything would go that high up, and it's just like a laugh.
I could totally see it going high up.
Especially by someone who you just said respects film so much. That he would never make another movie again, and people would never watch his movie.
It's come out, and he said when all this backlash came out, and he kept claiming it was true. He went on and said, "Oh, well, it's a what if." That to me, it was like the first thing I'm like, "Well, what the fuck?" And then he comes out and says that he loves There Will Be Blood, but Paul Dano is. But
he also said Owen Wilson's a bad actor. Would you agree with him?
No,
I would.
Owen Wilson's a bad. There's worse actors than Owen Wilson.
Okay, and then he brought up the Hunger guy from the Hunger Games. So, like, again, these aren't people who are great. He was asked an opinion. Paul Dano, he should never have spoke on, because I like Paul Dano more than I like Tarantino. But the problem is it's all a little sensitive too. Okay, George Carlin used to go up on stage and make fun of people and say a lot worse than what Tarantino said, and people would laugh.
Yeah, but George Carlin is a comedian.
Well, Tarantino's had some pretty of the funniest fucking lines I've ever seen in dialogue history.
Yeah, but there's a when you are talking about an actor who's never outspoken towards Tarantino, first of all, never said anything to him, and you attack him saying when this guy was praised for his role.
Well, the Dano one, yes,
that's
but
what I'm
not
talking
Owen
about.
Wilson.
Oh, I don't care about. I'm not almost.
But he said all three in the same interview. So if you're quoting the one, you got to say what he said all across the whole board. And he was an asshole for saying anything about anybody. You're absolutely right about that. But again, when you're talking off the cuff, because I see this all the time, people are just talking. They're saying what they want to say. It's on the internet all the time. At some point, you got to just say, you know what? Let him say whatever he's going to fucking say. This thing blew up into a huge story. Now, you can't tell me that this is the hugest story in Hollywood right now, because it was. And that's what's sad.
Oh, well, I mean, Hollywood's...
The Warner Brothers story is huge.
You got John Voight talking about stuff for other shit, stupid shit going on there. But the fact that this blew up was because you said when people speak off the cuff and they say what they say, Tarantino does that. Just shut the fuck up.
But nobody ran and defended all these other actors. Don't that what usually people do when somebody says something wrong?
Yeah, actually, the director of the Batman came out and defended
the director, the guy who is still waiting for the new one to come out after 5 years.
Matt Reeves. Yeah, I mean, other people have come out.
The guy who works with Paul Dano. I mean, of course, and I would say the same thing about Paul Dano. Paul Dano's a great actor, and I would hope that Tarantino's the type of guy that's going to make a movie, and maybe these guys will be in it. That's what I bet will happen. It's stupid, but
I mean. If he does one with Paul Dano, he's only going to do 10 movies.
These people, that's the other thing that we could talk about. I talk about it all the time, the retiring, the stupid movies. That's why I hate Tarantino. There you go. I hate that. And frankly, I'll be even honest with you. I hate some of his movies too. He's not as great as he thinks he is. Okay? But in the scheme of just talking out loud and just saying off what's off your cuff, he shouldn't have said that about Paul Dano, because he didn't make that movie terrible. I watched There Will Be Blood quite a lot, and I think There Will Be Blood is up there with Pulp Fiction personally, and you know how much I love Pulp Fiction. And me and Katie have watched that movie, and Paul Dano's great in that movie, great in that movie. He's great playing Brian Wilson. He's great in the Batman. So Matt Reeves has every right to defend him, because I would probably throw a punch at Tarantino if I was Matt Reeves. Because the whole scene with the way he broke down in there, that's what pissed me off this week, is that, and someone said this, and this is, did Paul Dano do something to Tarantino? Because Paul Dano's not the guy you should really ever talk bad about. But then again, you just said it all around. It's fucking Tarantino, and what are we supposed to expect here? You can't get mad, though.
Oh, I can get mad.
I mean, you can't. Hey, go get mad. I'm just saying.
I'm just
that's my new thing.
This the whole thing that
I agree.
I don't agree with gatekeeping. I just don't. And I gave.
But he's not gatekeeping.
No, but he has done the the whole what is cinema, he's gone. And the reason I say that is because he's gone in. He's defended Scorsese and saying what is cinema, and I think doing that is not just you're hindering in new stuff that's coming out, because you want something to evolve. I'm not saying I love superhero movies, but you might have somebody who made a superhero movie and you're telling them they don't know how to fucking make cinema. That might, God forbid, tell them that
movie. Have you ever seen Idiocracy?
Yes.
If you see that's where things are heading, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should praise it and hope for an evolution that that's not coming. Look at the movie theaters. Where's the evolution coming there? Where's the evolution coming because of a good movie, let's say the new Running Man, good reviews, good movie, but no one goes and sees it. Why not? Because you know what? You just said it. They don't got the money. But you know what they do got the money for? Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And I bet next time we talk, that's going to be really high up. And we're going to look in the mirror and go, why did that go? But you're like, well, kids went. And I'm like, well, it's R. You know what I mean? So it's kind of sad. I want us to evolve. I want it to be true. And I don't want assholes to speak. Tarantino, honestly, if he isn't going to make movies and he isn't going to create any kind of medium, maybe just lay off the saying stuff. Maybe let's leave it there.
Five Nights at Freddy's only made $1 million, by the way.
Well, that was just released this one's at the theater. That one was on Peacock, if you remember correctly.
Jesus Christ.
So this one's
actually. Did it come out already? Because I'm looking at the This is IMDb, of course.
Today came out.
Okay, and it's got
Today.
a 5.9.
Yeah, it's bad. It's gonna be bad, but we've made our points, and the truth of the matter is again, I will agree with you overall. You should never just speak ill for no reason, okay? But he did, and we just, that is what it is.
Just go look at feet. Do that. That's serious. Go look at like that. And like I like his movies. Just I don't know.
I mean,
I don't understand why you just attack people. Like it doesn't make sense to me. But
I wouldn't say it was an attack. Attack would be he just like got up and started saying it. Someone asked him a question and he answered them.
And then he said, I mean, he's like Austin Butler would have been better in that role. And
well, some people he can't feel that way.
Was Austin Butler?
So is this stuff that you feel like you should only say behind closed doors?
I mean,
as a comedian, as a man who, when we get off of here, I write. I know as a guy who writes comedy.
But you're saying as a comedian. I'm saying as a director who works with people in the business and show class. Yes, you should say shit like that behind closed doors.
So you're saying by him saying that about a couple people, he isn't showing class as a director?
Yeah,
I think Jamie Foxx would disagree with you, and Samuel L. Jackson would disagree with you.
That's totally fine. They could disagree.
And honestly, these people actually are in the film industry and worked in over 1,000 films. So, you know what? That's an opinion.
I mean,
that's what it is.
His so-called muse would disagree with them too by saying he endangered her.
Who?
His so-called muse. Uma Thurman has said that Quentin has endangered her.
Is that why she's working with him again right now?
No, I'm saying no, but she did say that.
Well, she's working with him again right now. And so in Stranger Things said that David Harbour was stalking her and they're now hugging. So I'm not understanding what
she
your
also
point
told
is.
her daughter to hide her feet from Quentin Tarantino. I'm just saying.
But that's the point. People say a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Everyone says something about somebody. This is the way the world is.
I'm sorry. I don't give a shit how the world is. You just be a fucking. Don't be a prick. That's all I'm saying. Don't be a prick.
Even us talking bad about him is what he did, right? Calling him a prick is exactly what he just did to those other people.
That's fine. I'm a nobody, so I don't give a fuck.
Nobody. You are a somebody. You're my co-host, and I haven't
worked in the movie theater, like in the movie business, and Paul Dano didn't do shit to me. Also, Paul Dano was in The Sopranos.
Well, now I feel bad about. I know what you did last summer. I'm never going to say anything bad about anybody again.
No, you're just taking it to be an asshole over the edge.
No,
I'm just saying,
funny.
It's just things that he just constantly puts his foot in his mouth. Like, you know what? Tarantino is to theater what people are.
No, that's where you're wrong because people defend him too. People come to his defense.
I'm gonna give you.
People come to one side and can't come to the other side.
I'm gonna give you a great comparison of this. Tarantino is to film right now is what Bret Hart is to wrestling, without Bill Goldberg.
Without Bill Goldberg,
I'm that serious. There is a lot of similarities there. People come to Bret Hart's defense. I'm one of them, and people will go to the other people's defense.
You're a lot nicer than me because I would compare even him to more like a Hogan.
I don't know. He lied about the lead thing, but I don't know if he's a constant liar.
Well, it's not about that. It's more about even the way he speaks out sometimes about, I don't want to get into this right now, but it's about some of his personal beliefs, like you were bringing up earlier, that a lot of people would turn their head and go, huh? What? You said that out loud? That's not really nice.
Yeah.
And that's when you start to say, and that's when someone said about Paul Dano, that maybe Paul Dano went against some of Tarantino's personal beliefs. And that's somewhere, and he came out pretty much against the whole war in Gaza versus Jerusalem, because I know that Tarantino lives in Jerusalem a little bit, Israel. So, I don't know, man. I know, but I would agree with you that I don't know how well me and him would get along. I'm just telling you.
I would not get along well.
I know you would. We already know you wouldn't.
I would.
Would you meet him though?
I'd meet him. I mean, I'd be respectful, but I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't kiss his ass. Well, then again, I wouldn't really kiss.
And then honestly, when we headed there, I'd have to tell you to take this episode down so he never finds.
No. I don't. Hey, man, if you're in that, like they say, if you're in that business or you're in our business,
that's true.
Take the good with the bad.
That's true. I'll agree with you. I like that.
Our friend Richard Roper told me that.
That's good. That's good.
So that is the news of the past couple weeks. Let us know what you think about our thoughts on things. Tarantino stuff, the Netflix stuff, as well as the Stranger Things, Fallout, and if you are actually going to go see the Avatar films. God, I can't. There's two more of those films. I can't even think about the next one's Earth, right?
I think so.
Can we talk about pop-up books? They're more on my level. The Babadook. I sent you that video, Gordo. The Babadook. It's a pop-up book about horror.
Babadook.
Very, very good film. With that, though, we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of the show. Damn, we argued for like 20 minutes there. We're gonna get to the meat and potatoes of the show with the films that were books and became live action feature films. Now, I picked 5 and Tony picked 5. Oh, you know what? Before we get to this, Tom, I had this question I wanted to ask you. Actually, when we were going to do the show a couple weeks ago, is there a TV series, minus The Sopranos, that when it ended, you're like, wow, I wish they would have ended it differently?
Yes.
Well, which one?
Mad Men.
Oh, what?
And honestly, I think that's why how bad it is. I'm trying to even remember. It's been a while since I've seen the ending, but from what I remember, it was like everything was just kind of like he was like in an ad at the end, and everybody's dancing, and it's just one of those cheesy kind of like send-offs. Where to me, a perfect ending was almost like how Breaking Bad ended. Like to me, that was like a great ending. Where like I like more of a. Even though when I think about The Sopranos and now I'm watching the later seasons, I don't really have a problem too much with the ending now that I'm watching it more. But how about you?
So what got me into this question is I was watching a series that I had watched when I was a kid. And, I watched the last episode and I totally forgot like how it made me feel at the time. And that was the Wonder Years. When he and Winnie are coming back they stood a night in a barn because it was storming. He had a fight with his dad, and when he goes into the voiceover, Daniel Stern goes into the voiceover, and he talks about how him and his dad made up. His sister had a kid. Wayne took over for his dad after he passed. That was like one of my first times hearing like a major TV character passing that I watched, on TV all the time, which that hit me a little bit. And then when he said that him and Winnie talked, like basically wrote letters to each other for 8 years while she was overseas. And then at the end, he basically met her with his wife. So I wish they would have said that they ended up together. And that's just me because maybe, now I know everything, they're trying to make it more as life doesn't always turn out like it's supposed to be. But to me, they went through so much shit through that whole series with each other, her brother passing away, all the other things, that would have been a nice way that they, that was how they met. Through childhood to make that ending. Also Paul became Marilyn Manson apparently. No, but that's one of the ones I was like, well, I wish they ended differently. And then I was, being the movie nerd I am, read up on it, and Danica Keller came out and said that they could have written in that they, reconnected after their marriages maybe ended, which I'm like, that's kind of bad. Your marriage is gonna end. You know what I mean?
That last season was really bad of Roseanne when Dan went away. That's probably would be my pick, I guess, that I thought about it a little bit more. Because when they're like after Dan's death, like they just kind of like blew him aside, which was really bad, I thought.
Did you watch the first season of the new one?
The Connors or the
Roseanne. It was Roseanne.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you think of that? Because they said it was just a book she wrote.
Are you talking about before it turned into the Connors?
Yeah, before it turns to the Connors.
Yeah,
I think it was Roseanne season 10.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
and then they killed her off
because again, that time, you can't say that stuff at all. You're out of here, man. There's no, this isn't just saying some actors sucked. When you're making hateful language, you're done.
Yeah, and
you're gone.
on like Adbian or something like that.
Yeah, that's what she said. She's doubled down on that.
She's also in a Mac McDonald rap video.
He Devil's great though.
It is. I actually liked Roseanne's the original. I didn't like the
It
last
was.
season.
It's a great
The series
show.
good
That's
show.
a good show.
Okay, I just want to ask you that question before I forgot. And before we get to the films, just a heads up, the food drive is still going on. Last time that we checked, you can actually still donate to the Southside Food Drive by clicking on or taking a picture of the captcha that is on the screen right now. There's over $21,000 that has been raised, but there has been said in the media that they will start taking money away from blue states that have SNAP benefits. I don't know how true that is, but if they do, that's pretty shitty. So help out families who just need food. $1 is for can make 3 meals, so every dollar counts. Although we raised $21,000 of our $20,000 goal, we're just trying to put extra money in there to help out the people of Chicago. So shout out to everybody who has donated, everybody who is part of the organization. A really big shout out to Celeste and the Ask Crew for getting this started. A lot of people have donated to that tone. It's a good thing to see like people, showing up for the community, my man.
Yeah, I mean it's a struggle, man. It's a real big struggle out there. I can talk about a whole podcast on struggle. It's just not, and it's not, and helping people out is exactly. I mean, half of which it's great here. Our first book we'll get into it here in a minute. Actually, we'll get started here and then I'll talk about it because I'm actually just finished this book in my class today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's get into our first film.
Are you real?
(1983's) The Outsiders. The book was written by S.C. Hinton. It's directed by Francis Ford Coppola, who did the Godfather series, Rumblefish, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Jack, and talk about movie flops, Megalopolis, which kind of made him almost go bankrupt. The film stars C. Thomas Howell, Matt Dillon, Ralph Macchio, Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Diane Lane, Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise, and Leif Garrett, at a box office of $25.7 million on a $10 million budget. This is one of my picks. The reason I said this film is this film has always resonated with me, not just from the book, but it just in terms of film in general. It has so many actors who've gone on to like bigger things. Matt Dillon, Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Diane Lane, Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise. And then it had those 80s stars like Leif Garrett, Ralph Macchio, and C. Thomas Howell before he decided to do that horrible film. Eventually, he tried to get out of that thing, but it's a great book. I thought the rendition on the screen was awesome. It made me fall in love with Robert Frost. I read this book in high school, and then of course, we studied Frost for English class. It's just one of those films that I think is a coming of age film that every teenager should see. It still holds up to today. Matt Dillon's character as Dally is probably one of my favorite characters in the 80s, just because of how he tries to play a tough guy, but he's a softie. And he just makes me laugh when everybody's standing around. And he's like, "There's gonna be no Rumble without me," and he starts beating the shit out of that guy. And it's just an interesting film. You feel bad for Ralph Macchio, Johnny, his family. He has a very, very bad family life, which kind of resonates with real people that sometimes they don't talk about. They sleep on the streets because they can't go home. It's a tough film, but it's really, really well made. And Francis Child, not a huge fan of Francis Ford Coppola, the person, like his work, but I will say this: it's kind of cool that a high school class wrote him a letter to get this film made, and he decided to do so. So, shout out to him for that. What'd you think of The Outsiders, Tom?
You'd have to say Coppola is like a step below in the POS department than Tarantino, correct?
I would say he's 5 steps above.
You mean Tarantino is?
No, Tarantino is a choir boy compared to Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, I almost just fell over in my seat. That was because Coppola is not a good man. But okay, so back to this movie though. Shot. I mean, can you imagine? Depeche Mode's out there with all these awesome colors on stage, and this movie looks like you're in 1950s, dude.
Mhm.
And I like that a lot. Story, after finishing it this week in the classroom, students saying out loud, this is one of the greatest books I've ever read. It's awesome to hear. The story itself can translate through so many different lives. Especially, you could pick a character, any character, and just kind of like follow them. Derry's a great character. As you said, Matt Dillon does a great job in the movie. Dally, that name is often great too. Swayze, it does a good job. But often when you look and see these performances, like you said, it's just really cool to see a lot of young actors do a good job. And I'll agree with you with the letter being written to Coppola. That was that doesn't happen very often.
No, and it's like I said, it's a coming of age film, and I thought it was really, really done very, very well. Now, since the book is fresh in your mind, is the book better than the film, or you kind of even?
You know why I'm going to put, for me, I'm going to put the book a little higher because of the fact, she was, 15 when she wrote it. She finished it when she was 16 and she published it when she was 17. When you're looking at kids that are, 14, 15, and 16, and you can tell them that, it's really translatable for somebody to say, hey, maybe I can write a book or maybe I can do something like that. The movie's great too. It's just, you could say it's just as good. But because all the things we've stated before, but just something about the book, every book goes a little bit more in depth in the characters. There's a little bit more writing in the characters, where in the movie, you got to like act out a little bit more. So I like the book a little bit more than the movie, I would say.
Yeah, off the top of my head, and I haven't read the book in a few years, longer than a few years, but I would say the book is a little bit better. But I enjoy them both equally. I think they're both great. And it's kind of crazy that in the same year, Dylan did The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, and then he did Rumblefish, which again was directed by Coppola. And it's another S.E. Hinton book that I equally enjoyed reading. Have you read that one and seen the movie film?
Yes, I have. Which is funny because I treat this like more like a film studio at school. So I'm like, yo, you're gonna have to see Rumblefish, and that was then, this is now, and they're all just staring at me like, yeah, we're pretty much done after this one. That as you stated though, Coppola, just maybe this is like maybe his avatars, like because what you're telling yourself is like Coppola is dedicating his time to make this book. You just wouldn't think it would be him. You just wouldn't. And I guess that's what's kind of cool about him doing it too, in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was like a lot of differences in that film as well than the book. But S.E. Hinton, like the fact that she wrote this book in particular at 15 is amazing. Shout out to her, man. Like it's big. I mean, when you think of 80s films like Greasers, of course once you would think of Grease, but you cannot, Outsiders has to come to your mind too. And then have such like astounding talent that hadn't blown up yet. Like Tom Cruise is a minor character in this film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 2-Bit is a minor character in this film. So did Pop Curtis. This little those characters their names are great, but just very, very minor characters in here. And I actually saw the alternate ending. I guess it's on YouTube. It's Derry is talking to them, like the two brothers, and they hug, and he's talking about Johnny dying and Dally dying, and they hug, and it ends that way. Which I'm kind of I like the way the film ended better, the ending they went with the letter from Johnny. But it's kind of cool to see stuff, the stuff that wasn't released.
Well, like that you're saying it like that, because I haven't seen that extra section, but that's actually the chapter before the last chapter, like in the book. So actually both sections, I believe, are in the book, because there's like a wrap up where they get to talk with Dally, and Dally pretty much lets him know this whole time, and he realizes that Dally actually loves him, and it's this big good thing. So like maybe they should have worked that in maybe a little earlier than the actual ending because I love the ending of the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they kind of make them kind of make up when he comes back and
That's
Derry
true.
gives him a
Real
hug.
quick. That's true.
But it was just so quick, it didn't really elaborate on it. I understand too, it's a film, I can't do it, but yeah, it would have been kind of cool. But I do like the way they ended the film with the letter from Johnny. But that's my pick for their books into films, and now we're gonna go into Mr. Burt's pick.
You think I'm a hero? I am not a hero. I'm a drifter with nothing to lose. You killed that girl to put me in a frame. I mean to beat you to death and drink your blood from a boot.
Jack Reacher, released in 2012. It was a series by Lee Child and is directed by Christopher McQuarrie. That's, I believe, how you say his name.
Yep.
He did a Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, Dead Reckoning Part 1, Fallout, Rogue Nation, and The Way of the Gun are films he released. Starring Tom Cruise, Rosamund Pike, Richard Jenkins, David Oloyo, Werner Herzog, Jai Courtney or
Yep.
Jay Courtney, Robert Duvall. It had a box office of 60 million, a budget of 60 million, a box office of 218 million. Tell us about The Reacher.
Well, the reason we're here tonight is to compare books to the films. Film's really, really good. Okay. Tom Cruise does a really good job. I actually enjoyed this movie quite a lot. The sequel is not very good, but this one is good for what it is. But if you read the books, the character of Jack Reacher, the description of him in the book is a lot different than what you're getting on the screen. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, is counterpoint to The Outsiders, where you actually get exactly what you're reading and you kind of can compare it. In Jack Reacher, which is a good movie, the book series, it's like, and I know why they do this. You need a big actor, well, or short actor, or I'm sorry, a medium-sized actor. Sorry, Tom, I'm not trying to make. But again, in the books, he's a big man, and you could see that in the television show, and that's why they made the television show, because they made the character a little bit more closer to the book. Does that make the movie bad? No, it just doesn't make it like the book, and that's what's crazy. Because like when this movie comes out, they're saying based on the book. So if you go and pick up the book, you're going to be a little bit disappointed, because it might not match up to what it is. But the movie is good. Tom Cruise does a good job. Actually, Werner Herzog, who's a pretty good director himself, does a good job as the bad guy. Not a bad movie.
No, I enjoyed this film. And with that being said, yes, there is a physical difference. But if I want somebody to do an action film, I mean, Tom Cruise would have to be at the top of your list. I mean, he's probably one of the biggest action stars of all time, if not the biggest, right?
Can you imagine if they came to you and said, we can get Tom Cruise for your book, and even if this guy was like 19 feet tall, you would be like, no, can we see who else we could get? And you're like, well, who?
Yeah, I mean, Tom Cruise, we just talked about movies that don't make money. Tom Cruise's movies make money.
Yeah.
They're enjoyable for the most part. But I like so this is I never read the book of Reacher. I know the character differences because when the show came out, I read like just little tidbits about that. I never got into the Lee Child books that much with the Reacher, but I do love the show. I really, me and Jen, something me and Jen watch, and I think it's corny a little bit, but we like it, we enjoy it. It's something that I like watching. And it's got a lot of action, and I like the films. I don't think the second one is as good as the first one, but I mean, hey, it's a sequel. I thought this film was very good. I want to get more of your opinion since this is your pick. Like, of course, taking out that aspect of Reacher being, big, physically imposing, how does this match up to the book this space is based on?
You get, again, it's, you get like a lot of these type of books that have to do with like CIA agents and going undercover. You get more of the character development. You get more of a backstory. I mean, to be fair though, Jack Reacher is it's a little bit longer movie. I think it's like 210, 205. But like the books though, you start to get into like James Bond territory where you can't even take everything from the book into the movie because it's so much. Or you take, actually, to be fair, if I'm not mistaken, this movie pulled from 2 books. So like that's what ends up happening. And you say to yourself, well, that's why maybe in some regards the movie is better. You know what I mean? It's one of those where, but I also am a firm believer, and we're going to talk about this a lot tonight, that if the books weren't any good or even close to being really good, they wouldn't have made a movie. Tom Cruise wouldn't jump on board. So it's like
that is completely true too. Lee Child's known for his like spy stuff. I grew up when I was really into when I used to read a lot was James Patterson. So Along Came a Spider, Kiss the Girls, Alex Cross were the movies and the books I liked. Man, they really messed up that last one.
Alex Cross?
Yeah, with Tyler Perry. But you know, this is kind of falls into kind of the same kind of although Alex Cross is a detective, Jack's but so is Reacher. Reacher's a sergeant that was on, he's a military detective basically. So they're kind of in the same kind of atmosphere, would I say atmosphere or world, kind of like in that aspect of law enforcement. But yeah, I really enjoyed the films. I like the TV series as well, and I can see why it was so popular, and why it still is popular. Looking forward to the next season that comes out for Reacher.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Pride's been releasing some good stuff, man. So, which is surprising.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
With that though, let's move on to our next one, my friend.
Stop it, Mama! Stop hurting yourself, Mama! He's gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you.
1976's Carrie, written by the great Stephen King. Yeah, I couldn't go without mentioning the king of horror, Stephen King himself. The film is directed by Brian De Palma, who did Body Double, The Bonfire of the Vanities, The Untouchables, Dress to Kill, Carlito's Way, and the first Mission Impossible. This film stars Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, Amy Irving, William Catt, and a young John Travolta. It had a box office of $33 million on a budget of $1.8 million. Like I said, Stephen King is the king of horror, and this is one of the first films I saw from him, besides the 1990 TV series of It. It's one of the first books I read from him. Christine actually makes an appearance in this book as well, The Car. It's a film that I think holds up, and it kind of relates to a lot of bullying, but it comes back with the character of Carrie White being a complete badass with being a psychic. And although it's corny, the acting scene, I thought Piper Laurie, who played her mom, did a great job, like as the mom, because she could tell the future, and she was psychic as well in certain ways. But it was treated as a mental disorder, so people thought she was crazy, and everything like that scene she's saying they're gonna laugh at you basically comes true. And Carrie, but Carrie don't fuck around. She burns people to death in that prom. It's probably one of the most iconic scenes in horror when the bucket of blood drops on her at the prom, and she just completely goes apeshit. Now there were remakes of this film. I even saw the sequel that they did. They weren't horrible, but I am a fan of the original. I love the way in this film tone how they do the split of when of the screen when they show the fire coming up, or when she's doing the lights, turning the lights red, and they have one side of the screen her eyes, the other side the lights turning. I thought that was pretty awesome how they shot that way by Brian De Palma. Again, the book has a lot more detail in it, which a lot of King stuff does, but this does do it injustice in terms of making it entertaining and iconic. And of course, Sissy Spacek, this kind of put her on the map. King only sold this film for $2,500, the rights to it, and he said he doesn't have any regrets about it. I mean, why would you? It became a big time film, making 30 times its budget. So, what'd you think of Carrie?
It's really good, really good. You get that early Travolta performance is ridiculous.
Yeah.
William Catt performance is ridiculous. But as you stated, I mean, Piper Laurie does a really good job. Sissy Spacek. You really got to put it all out there as an actress to put this role on the screen. You got to think about it, because she's not portraying somebody who's like gorgeous. She's portraying somebody who's struggling. And that's where I think what makes Sissy Spacek a great actress is because she was able to pull this off. And of course, King in the book is it's legendary. It's iconic, so it's really comes to this hard part that like something that is so iconic by a young writer like Stephen King, can it be overtaken even by the greatest movie? I mean, this is a good case. It comes really, really, really close if it does, and it might for some people. That you said that prom scene, man, that is amazing, and it's a really good scene.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, you said up and coming Stephen King. He wrote this book while earning $1.60 at a laundry job, and he got the inspiration from working that job to write this book, which is crazy. So it's pretty crazy how the idea came, and then the book she reads in the library about telekinesis was real. It was a real publication from 1948, which I thought was a kind of a cool throw in. And if you're fans of audiobooks and you like the King books, no, we have not talked about Purple Crayon yet, Sam, but hello, sir. King's books that are done in audiobook form on Audible, if you have the Audible subscription, I highly recommend them. The film Dr. Sleep is narrated by William Patton, and it's done a great job. Carrie is actually narrated by Sissy Spacek, so you can actually hear Carrie read Carrie, which I think is kind of cool.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you're a big fan of that, check it out. Again, the iconic scene of the prom, it's still up there. I mean, people know it's from a film. It's probably the most iconic thing from a film, and even though they may not know which film it's from, they know the scene.
Now, I hate to bring it back up again, but back to Adam Sandler.
Mm-hmm.
His comedy album, They're All Gonna Laugh at You. That whole sketch where he just going, they're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh. That whole scene is iconic forever. And honestly, if you were to ask me, like when I was 14 or 15, one of the scariest things I had ever seen, it was that hand coming out at the end. When it's all peaceful and they're going by the grave and they put the flower down and the one hand comes up or whatever, I still get goosebumps talking or thinking about that because that scared me when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's up there, man. It has a nice little twist to it.
You ever see the sequels?
Yeah, I saw Rage Carrie 2 with her daughter, apparently. It was okay.
Classic ridiculousness.
It's screwed up. Like they kind of went like a little far in that one, because then they do one where like she was on like a guy's sex list or something like that, and
then they did one with Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah, that one actually that one wasn't too bad.
No, that wasn't terrible. It was better than the Rage.
Yeah, it was better than Rage, but I like the original.
Yeah,
but to each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was my pick, Tone. Let's get into your next pick, my man.
Let's do it.
Mystic River 2003, a book by Dennis Lehane. It's directed by Clint Eastwood, who did Gran Torino, $1 Million Baby, Unforgiven, Heartbreak Ridge, Pale Rider, and The Rookie are just some of the films he's done. Starring Sean Penn, Tim Robbins, Kevin Bacon, Lawrence Fishburne, Marcia Gay Harden, and Laura Linney. Had a budget of $25 million and a box office of $156 million. Tone, tell us about Mystic River.
When I first saw this movie, this was one of those movies where I walked out and I really liked this movie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and got the book and I read the book. And this is like the opposite. It's like it's hard for me to like the book more than the movie because the movie meant so much to me when I saw it the first time. And that happens sometimes too. It doesn't mean that the book is worse to me than the movie. The movie just is very awesome to me. And honestly, I think Clint Eastwood does an excellent job in the directing chair in this movie. Sean Penn's really awesome in this movie. everyone else does a really good job, but I think Sean Penn is the really good job and this really, really good job. But the story itself, I think is a very, very, especially how it all winds up, how these are three friends. It's kind of like not like quite as bad as Sleepers, but it's got like some Sleepers vibes to it. You know, some things happen at the beginning with one of the friends, and then there's regrets, and then they all have different lives, and you get to kind of see it from all the different angles. And to be fair, I love Kevin Bacon, but he usually doesn't get his hands on roles like this too often in a movie like this, and he does a pretty good job. Tim Robbins, who had worked with Sean Penn before on Dead Man Walking, they do a pretty good job together. I think it's a really just a good movie, and I actually like the ending is probably one of my favorite endings in a lot, especially in this time period of movies in 2003, was probably one of my favorite movies of these couple years around this time, just because it's kind of like a mob movie. It's not really like a mob movie because Penn is kind of like in the mob. It's like it touches a lot of different genres that I enjoy. It touches the crime genre, it touches the thriller genre, it touches the mob drama, it touches a lot of different genres. So I enjoy this one.
Yeah, for one, it won 2 Oscars. Sean Penn and Tim Robbins, one for Best Actor, the other for Best Supporting Actor. They were phenomenal in this film. That scene I played, even though I wanted to play more of it, but I didn't want to get copyrighted. That's a very, very powerful scene when he walks up with Tim Robbins and he's like, "Is that my daughter?"
Yeah.
And Kevin Bacon, who's a childhood friend of theirs, is the cop, and he's walking towards them. He knows what's going on, and just to see them try to fight the police to get through. I mean, any parent would be doing the same thing. Like, I would go ape shit. I know you would go ape shit. It's a horrible, predicament to be in. Again, I read this book a very, very long time ago. But coming away from it, I really enjoyed the film. I think they're both equally good, if not the movie's a little bit more entertaining, but that's just because it's beefed up a little bit for more Hollywood visual. But I think they're both very, very good. And I mean, I know I gave Tarantino his flowers before shitting on him. Clint Eastwood, my man, he as an actor phenomenal, and as a director phenomenal. Just very, very talented. It's pretty crazy. Like, when we talk about great directors, like, you don't really hear Eastwood be mentioned that much because you're always hearing about Scorsese, the Coppolas. You hear about our guy Kubrick or Spielberg, but you never really hear about Eastwood. And he's silently there, like, holding those 2 Oscars, like, "Oh yeah, I can direct."
And that's it's like the Robert Redford, you know what I mean? Like, you can direct, you can act. And Eastwood giving all of him, I mean, he's majority of his movies, man, I could sit and watch all of them. I mean, maybe not as much Trouble with the Curve, but some of the movies you can sit and just at least say, these aren't as bad as I Know What You Did Last Summer. And this movie, saying he directed this movie, and I mean, right around the same time, I mean, his other movies he was directing, pretty good stuff. $1 Million Baby's a pretty good flick. You say to yourself, solid director, maybe even better than an actor, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best. I would put Clint Eastwood as the best Western actor.
Oh yeah.
I know some people get mad because they'll say John Wayne, but I think
John Wayne wasn't like a best. John Wayne wasn't really a good I mean, maybe I'll get lambasted. He wasn't a good actor. He was a good actor for what he was doing. Clint Eastwood, when you're going from Dirty Harry to Westerns and back and forth, and then you throw in there Every Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can, he could do comedy. You start to, and then he comes out with movies where he's flying in a plane, a Firebird, you know what I mean? Like, he can do it all. Maybe I'm wrong actually about his acting, because when you can think of all the different roles he has actually played in, he's actually, I'm going to do some research and I'm going to get back to you, because I'm going to actually think about all the different kind of characters he's played. because you got to say he's played a guy who's flied planes. He's played a guy who's a cowboy. He's played a guy who's a cop. He's played a guy
military.
Yeah, military. He was a clown in a movie on like a traveling circus in the 80s. You know, I mean, he's a honky tonk guitar player in a movie. You know, like he's a grumpy old man with a car in the garage. You know?
Yeah. Maybe that all those roles and ability to do it fed into his directorial ability to kind of guide people in the way he wanted.
You said it a little while ago. Let's be honest with another, which I'll come back and agree with you a little bit here about Tarantino, is that when you learn how to talk to people and work with people on a movie set, you know, you gain the respect to be better at your craft. I mean, how many movies I'll even tell you right now, as much as I love Pulp Fiction, I love Eastwood as a director a whole lot more than I love Tarantino as a director. Because of what I just spoke of. I like variety more than I like a couple cool shooting movies. You know what I mean? Like Eastwood's got a big variety, and he's a great director,
and more successful variety too.
Oh yeah, very successful.
But speaking of working with people, Michael Keaton was originally cast as the role of Sean Devine. He did readings and research with the Massachusetts State Police, and then he quit after he had to blow up with Clint Eastwood. So Michael Keaton might not be a fan of Clint Eastwood, but you never know. They might have made up. But you know, the Birdman, the Batman was not a fan of the Eastwood man. But yeah, I really like this film. It's very powerful, and I do get that Sleepers vibe from it too. Sleepers came out maybe 8 years before. Although that book is kind of a little bit off topic, but that book is actually the guy who wrote it. They found out, he claims it's a true story, and they found out that it was like complete bullshit. Did you hear about this?
Sleepers or this one?
Sleepers.
Oh, well, not this one, obviously. Sleepers, yeah. No, I did not know that.
Yeah, so he claims it happened like, and then like I guess people went in, they couldn't find any court cases that were like anywhere near that. So it was like completely fabricated. He still sticks by his story, so I don't know, but yeah,
that's I mean, that's. But you got to also admit, you know, in the world of wanting to make a quick buck, but why would you come up with that kind of story? But I don't know. You know what I mean?
Hopefully. I like that. Well, I mean, I like the film. It's a good film. Very, very disturbing, but it's a good film. And Kevin Bacon's in that film too.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you, plays direct opposite of a character.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit in that one. Oh yeah, I remember you guys. What the fuck do you want? Let me
just think. You go to the movie theaters with your friends to go see like Casino, and then you go with your theaters with your friends to go see Sleepers. That was me. And you're sitting there and you're watching Sleepers, and you're like, I walked out of that movie and I didn't watch that movie again for a lot of years because it was bad vibes, man. And it didn't. It's a good movie, but it doesn't leave you feeling good.
I watched that film like when I was like 14. It was on, I think, TNT, and TNT kind of didn't show everything. Then my senior year in high school, my English teacher also taught film. So he, since we were seniors and like we had our ACTs, he's like, we're going to do something different. We're not going to read a book for the next 2 weeks. We're going to watch a film. He goes, and we're going to do what I do for film class, and we're going to take quizzes on it and stuff like that, right? The film we watched was Sleepers.
Oh, wow.
And I remember one of the kids telling, my teacher's name Mr. Genoso, one of my kids are telling Mr. Genoso, this is a fucked up film. Why are we watching this? He's like, just watch it. And like and I remember like we really discussed everything about it, and like it was one of those films that stuck with me from then. So it kind of has like something when I think of high school.
It's a good stand-up joke, man. You got showed Sleepers in school, man.
Yeah, Mr. J, one of my favorite teachers, he just showed it to us. I guess it was powerful, I guess. But
kind of reminds me, yeah, it's just not, yeah, no.
But great pick, Tom.
Thanks.
All right, let's move on to our next one.
Oh my God.
That part right there always makes me laugh because it burps. It sounds like a burp to me. 1973's The Exorcist. If you were listening to us on the podcast, you missed the scene of the spider walk, is what I played. The book was written by William Peter Blatty, who also directed The Exorcist 3. So I highly recommend you check that film out. Tony watched it and he liked it.
Okay.
It's directed by William Friedkin, who did To Live and Die in L.A., The French Connection, Cruising. He did Jen's favorite film, Bug, which he confuses with Fly. That's also Dougie Fresh, his wife's favorite film. She hates that movie, Bug. And did Blue Chips, man. I totally forgot he did Blue Chips until I was doing research for this. It stars Ellen Burstyn, Max von Sydow, Lee J. Cobb, Jason Miller, William O'Malley, and Linda Blair. Speaking of Sleepers, we're talking about Jason Miller, whose kid Jason Patrick is in Sleepers. A budget of $11 million and a box office of $430 million. It was the first horror film to be nominated for an Oscar. This really put horror on the map, coming off the Night of Living Dead by George A. Romero. This one put it with a big budget, and William Friedkin actually got, like, this movie got Oscar buzz, which is something that was unheard of at the time. The book is phenomenal. The film is phenomenal. They're both equal in my mind, both revolutionary in terms of writing. This actually got the aspect of possession really into the horror genre, as well as in the film genre with books and what that. I like this film. Who does not like The Exorcist? I mean, unless you're terrified of it, my wife. But just a great overall job of playing the mood of, the possession of a girl. Linda Blair is so good as a young kid in this film. It's ridiculous.
It's really good.
It's still like certain parts of this film still freak me out. I remember when I was doing 31 Days of Horror. This is the first time. I think it was 4 years ago, Tone?
Yeah. It was. This was your fourth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my films, and I remember when I was editing this, listening to it in my headphones, sitting down here and like just with the light of my computer, and you still get kind of freaked out of listening to it. It's still a terrifying film in certain aspects. It's also a film where a lot of creepy things happen on the set. People said that stuff caught on fire, stuff like that. If you want to do the paranormal stuff, but it's really well done. It's a perfect horror movie in my opinion. The book was done very good justice. It got the horror genre on the map even bigger. Now it went on to do a sequel that was completely horseshit, but luckily William Peter Blatty came back and fixed it very well. One of my favorite parts of this film, Tone, is when Jason Miller starts beating the shit out of Linda Blair.
Oh yeah,
he's like, "Coming to me." That part always, even as I watched it when I was a kid, and the film was scary, but that part always made me laugh because he just like punching the shit out of him. But very well done in terms of directing. When you see their breath, it is real. There's no CGI, no camera tricks. They were actually in a cold room that was the actors were freezing in. Just well done. And still freaks me out. What do you think about The Exorcist, my man?
Classic. I mean, I don't think I've ever met anybody who's said anything negative about The Exorcist. I mean, go through the music is great, great soundtrack. But as you stated, I mean, for some unknown reason, for myself, Jason Miller always stuck in my head as did a really good job in the movie. And then when seeing the third one coming back, I thought that was really cool. So I've never actually sat down and read the book, but everything that I have heard, it's good.
Yeah, the book. So in the book, they name the demon.
Oh, okay.
Which is why in The Heretic they keep using it. Which is, I'm glad they left that out in the film, because it's kind of a ridiculous name. But I really liked the book. I liked the film, and I liked the third film. And William Peter Blatty, I was really happy he got to direct the third film because he wanted to have his own vision of it, his own way, without even having an exorcism in it. And the studio made him put one in there, but it was still good. But yeah, this is like when we're talking about pound per pound, like the big heavyweights in horror, this is probably like number one on a lot of people's list. And maybe not so much now because there's all these other films that are out that people have different views on, but this was mine when I mean, this is one of the scariest films I've ever seen. It still didn't scare me like Candyman, but it still scared the shit out of me.
Candyman definitely scared me too.
Yeah. crazy thing is, Friedkin actually used real exorcism audio recordings for some of the demon sounds, which I think made it even worse. Like,
It's
freaked
crazy.
me out. Yeah. So, great film. Great job by everyone. Put Linda Blair in the map. Max von Sydow, who was actually a younger person in this film, that made him look old, uh, which is done very, very well. I feel bad for Reagan's mom in this film because imagine like if you're going through that, your kid's doing all these,
Oh,
and you're taking it everywhere. It's like the psychiatrists, the doctors.
oh,
The film also has a serial killer in its own. Did you know that?
yeah. No, I did not.
So the part where she goes to the hospital, the guy who's giving her, I believe, the X-ray tech
Uh-huh.
is actually a serial killer.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if he was he did an acting job there, but he might have worked in the hospital. But I know he killed like 4 women.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Really crazy.
it's pretty
Sad
crazy,
too. Sad and crazy.
sad and crazy. But if you haven't seen The Exorcist, get off your ass and go watch it. What'd you think of the new one?
But I don't know if you heard, since you're speaking of some news, they
Yeah,
just announced last week that I think Scarlett Johansson is going to star in a new one.
yeah, she's a busy girl. She's coming back for The Exorcist, and she's in talks to take over Catwoman for Zoe Kravitz.
Look at that. Look at that. Living life.
I'm not gonna see the new one. I didn't see the new one. It looks stupid to me. David, I will say this: David Gordon Green has kind of made me not want to watch any of his movies.
And that is a fair assumption.
So that's why I didn't see it. And when my brother told me it was horrible, I was like, yeah, I figured. But the original was great. Check it out. Even some of the sequels are good. Dominion's very good. I like that one. It's a prequel. I didn't see the beginning. I don't know if the beginning was good. I think it was like kind of like the Dominion. I can't remember, but they're okay. Check them out. But yeah, The Exorcist. I couldn't talk about a book that became a film without talking about probably one of the best horror films, man.
That's true.
But the next one is another big time heavyweight film. Let's get to that one.
Usually it's difficult. Give your career a rest. Leave her alone.
A naked guy with a gun? You expect anyone to believe that?
Get the fuck away from me.
I love Russell Crowe in that film. LA Confidential. It was released in 1997. And it's a book written by James Elroy. Excuse me.
Sure.
It's directed by Curtis Hanson, who did The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. That made me laugh when I read that. Wonder Boys, Inner Shoes, Chasing Mavericks, Lucky You, and The River Wild. It stars Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, Kim Basinger, Danny DeVito, David Stray. How do you say his name, Tone? I always get his name wrong.
Strahan.
Strahan. David Strahan, Ron Rifkin, and James Cromwell. That will do, pig. And a budget of $35 million and a box office of $125 million. Tone, tell us about LA Confidential, my friend.
I'm laughing real quick because I just thought of when David Strathairn, because I just watched him on The Sopranos.
Yeah.
When he's in the bed, he looks at Carmela and he's like, no. He pretty much tells her off or whatever.
Yeah.
She starts crying. You know what, yeah, before I go further, you were right about something, because I had watched The Sopranos a lot, but I had never focused in on Carmela before.
Mm-hmm.
But when we had our show, you told me that she was very, very annoying and she sucked. And when you said that, I didn't even say anything to you, but I said in my head, I go, well, I never really had a problem with her. Oh, she sucks. Oh, you're absolutely right. But back to what we're talking about here. The book to this movie. I love LA Confidential. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, I love it a lot. I like a lot of movies though, a lot. But that being said, the book, you're looking for deeper in the characters. It's a little more hardcore. What's cool about the book versus the movie is the book takes place over years.
Mm-hmm.
The movie takes place over a couple months. So like in the book, you get a little bit more, and there's a little bit more juice, and things a little bit more like make a little bit more sense. Not that the movie doesn't, because it just says it's a great movie, but the book though, you just get a little bit more.
Now, so I never read the book. I'm just gonna be honest because the book was written in 1990. But I did research on it, and it is a part of a quartet, the LA Quartet. The first being the Black Delilah, which was a real murder, and they made a film out with Josh Hartnett, which wasn't that great. The Big Nowhere, and then of course LA Confidential was the third one, and then White Jazz was the last film. All characters are the same in each of the films, or is it? Each of the books, or is it changed to different cases?
There are the same characters. What's really cool though is Guy Pearce's character, Ed Hexley.
Mm-hmm.
His dad is like a big time cop in the book series, where in here it's not. His father is a famous detective, where in the movie he's just like a beat cop. They just kind of mention him in passing because that's why they kind of give him crap. But like the in the book too, her origin story, Lynn Bracken, is a lot more detailed than like in the movie. You get a little bit more of who she kind of was. Where in this one, my favorite part in the whole movie is where that she's in there with Russell Crowe comes to the door to talk to her, and that one guy comes up behind her and he's like, "You want me to get rid of him?" And then like the way Russell Crowe talks to that guy, but like you don't get some of that stuff in the book because you don't hear, like you said, Russell Crowe does a great job. You know, a piece of garbage. Kevin Spacey does a good job. You know what I mean? Like you get some really good performances. Personally, if you want to know, I'm gonna tell you my favorite underrated performance in this movie is James Cromwell. I'm a big James Cromwell fan. I think he does awesome in this movie. But the book, you get more juice. And the coolest thing in the book versus the movie, I would say, is the ending in the book. The ending in the book is a huge chaotic prison train shootout, which you don't get that in the movie. You get a little bit good shootout, but not quite a chaotic train prison shootout. So it's a little different.
Yeah, and in the book, Mickey Cohen, he's in the movie as well too. A real life gangster from LA. I like that aspect. He was in the Gangster Squad by Sean Penn, but really, really bad dude. If you look up Mickey Cohen, I like that they do that aspect in it. I like neo-noir films. I like neo-noir books, neo-noir games. LA Noir, if you ever played that game.
Oh yeah.
Was really, really cool. So this film's right up your alley if you're into that kind of stuff. The books, check them out. I'm actually interested now in reading the books since you put it out there. I might do audiobooks. It'd be a little better for me.
Get it in pretty quick.
Yeah. But it's something. This is something like right up my alley. Like I said, I love crime. There's a series that I really got into. That it is a crime series besides the Alex Cross stuff. But I don't know if you ever heard of the author. It's Tony Hillerman.
Sounds familiar, kind of.
Yeah. So Tony Hillerman wrote a lot of novels about reservations with crime, and his main character is Detective Joe Leaphorn and Officer Jim Chi, and they basically investigate crimes on reservations. One of the books he wrote was Sacred Clowns. He also did The Blessing Way, Listening Women, People of Darkness, stuff like that. They've released films on these, and they're pretty good. But the books are really, really interesting because they give it more of a crime aspect of how they handle stuff on reservations, which I thought was kind of cool.
Take a look at that.
Yeah, check them out. Blessing Way is really good. Sacred Clowns is really good.
Write that down.
And you can get into any book. It doesn't really. They don't really go from. You don't have to know the previous ones. The characters are kind of explained a little bit in each book. They'll like be introduced the same way, kind of. But it's just really interesting to me. But yeah, check out Tony Hillerman. But yeah, I love LA Confidential. I love the film. I think Russell Crowe is at like a peak Russell Crowe. Although Russell Crowe is getting a resurgence now in film again.
Now you want to have a good time. Now I don't suggest this as like a good movie, but if you want to have fun, he's played recently. I think it was in the last year or two. He's played in 2 movies. He's played pretty much a priest who is like taking down demon, like he's like an exorcist priest,
Yeah, I've
pretty
seen
much.
it.
And honestly, they're ridiculous, and he does a good job in them. So for if you like Russell Crowe, so I'm here for the Crowe resurgence. He's got some good stuff.
So that film makes me laugh because he's overweight. Russell Crowe's overweight, and he drives like a little scooter like a little scooter moped.
Yes.
It makes me laugh, that film.
About it.
It was okay. Those films were okay. I don't mind them. I like Russell Crowe. I think he's a great actor.
Yes.
But even in that film he did where he was the cop, the comedic, the Wrong Guys, I think it was, the Nice Guys.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
That was actually a very, very a good film too. So he's coming back out there. I did like the fact that people were asking him about Gladiator 2, and he's like, I'm not in the film. I have no idea how they're doing it. So which cracks me up. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next. He's kind of in the hot horror genre now, so like you said. So we'll just see where he goes from there, my friend. But this film, he's excellent in. Like I think it's peak Russell Crowe, and it just makes me laugh. There's a meme out there, Tone, because Russell Crowe is getting bigger. He did a film called Nuremberg, and he's a very, very husky man. And there's a Simpsons meme that I just looked up right now, and it says, Russell Crowe turned into John Goodman so gradually. I didn't notice. And if you look at this picture, I'm gonna send it to you. You can check it out after the pod.
Oh.
He looks just like John Goodman in this photo. I sent it to Zombie Jackie because she's my Simpsons go-to. But it's hilarious because you don't notice it until that meme, and I'm like, holy shit, he looks just like John Goodman.
Well, he did that one movie, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, where he's like it's pretty much like Falling Down with Michael Douglas, but it's like a new version with him. He gets run off the road, like some girl does something, and he pretty much just chases this girl the whole movie, and like he's insane. I think it's called
Unhinged.
Oh my god, you want to laugh riot? He's like Russell Crowe times a million on steroids of ridiculousness in this movie, because he just doesn't stop, and it shows really his range. Because when you could be an Academy Award winning movie like Gladiator, and then you come back and do something ridiculous like this, that's why I like your career. I think.
Yeah. I mean, he's good.
Yeah.
The Exorcism is the film about the Pope's exorcism, the Exorcism. So check those out. Great, this is a great pick. I really, really like LA Confidential. If you haven't seen it, be sure to check it out. Great film. Great crime film. Moving on, my friends.
He had a harebrained idea to get him nabbed on insurance money on his car.
That's bad luck.
I'd say.
2023's Killers of the Flower Moon, a book written by David Gran. It was directed by Martin Scorsese, who, of course, did Goodfellas, Casino, The Last Temptation of Christ, Departed, Taxi Driver, and Mean Streets. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Lily Gladstone, Jesse Plemons, Tantu Cardinal, and John Lithgow. Now, this film had a budget of $200 million and made $158 million at the box office, so it lost money. My kitchen cabinet got screwed up over Thanksgiving. It's unhinged. Jack. Oh, mailman Jack, you're the man. This film is based off the book of the same name that actually covers the Osage County murders that were first case taken on by the newly formed FBI director J. Edgar Hoover. And it basically is the Osage people are found oil, and a lot of people basically, killed them off, or married to them, or killed them off to get their inheritance. This film is not an easy film to watch. It's very long, I'll tell you that. But just the character, I always say that Leo to me is a great actor, but I think he's kind of like overrated. This film, I think he did a great job because he made me not like him extremely. He was not a good person, and the person he portrays was not a good person in real life. I really, really liked the film, but I will say this: the book, I think, is a little bit better because I did not like the way Scorsese ended this film with the radio show. But Lily Gladstone was phenomenal in it. I thought she should have won the Oscar. I think Jesse Plemons is awesome. I think Robert De Niro is awesome. A little too much hate on the Freemasons, even, but I know why they put that in there. But I think it's a great telling. I think the book is great, and the film is a great telling of the story. It's just a hard watch, but it dealt with something in history that was horrific. Um, Mailman Jack says he wished somebody else made this movie. Who'd you wish made the movie for Mailman Jack? Um, I think the book is very, very good. It's a lot better, but I like the film. Tone, what'd you think of Killers of the Flower Moon?
There's 2 movies that I just really haven't been able to really get into or grasp in the last 10 years, and I think it's maybe because I didn't see them in a big screen in a movie theater in a quiet area. It's this movie and it's The Irishman. And maybe these are the only 2 movies, which is funny because I don't really I love long movies. And when I've talked about these movies in the past, I've knocked their length, which makes people think that I don't like long movies. No, these just felt really, really long. And what I heard about both, especially this one, it would have done more better to make it like into a short series, possibly, as opposed to a film. But I could be wrong.
You know what? I would totally agree with you there. I think if this would have been a series directed by Scorsese, where he got everything he wanted to put in and have that slow burn come out, I think Spielberg would have done a good job. I think Scorsese, the reason I'm switching a little bit because Mailman Jack put Spielberg maybe directing. I think Spielberg would have been okay to direct this, but I think Scorsese also took a lot of indigenous people aspects and culture and really, really put that into the film. And I appreciate that of him for doing that. And he used a lot of the music. He used a lot of, even at the Oscars, they had them perform, which I thought was really cool.
I know a guy who could have directed this movie, possibly.
Catherine
and maybe Mailman Jack would agree with me. A guy who directed this movie called Shakes the Clown, Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine him on the set, gathering everybody, trying to film a 3.5-hour movie called Killers of the Flower Moon?
Jesus Christ! Catherine Bigelow would have been a good choice too.
She would have been a good choice.
It's kind of funny you say that this film and The Irishman were 2 films you couldn't really get into, and this is the second longest film after The Irishman for Scorsese.
Yeah, and I mean, I like Scorsese, but then again, when you're, he probably would have moved along better, Mailman says. That's the problem, is that I think Scorsese's got another movie. Did you ever see the one, what is it, the one with Adam Driver, and it's like the priest, they're like priests, Silence. It's like another 2.5, 3 hour. Like, I don't like, and I'll be honest with you, maybe it's because, as you said, it's not the easiest watch either. So what you're doing is you're not only making a hard watch about the subject matter, but you're now combining it by making it long. It's difficult.
Yeah, and I think, I like the film, but it's the cultural aspect of it, I think, really, really important to me because being indigenous. But the thing is, too, Tone, like I've only watched the film twice because of the length. I think the length kind of hurts that because it is a very long film. It's very powerful, but it's very long. And I think if you would have broken it up to maybe a series that could have been on HBO, it would have done a lot better because you could have fleshed out the characters, like the character of I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but the lawyer that Brendan Fraser plays. In the book, he has a little bit more prominent like details about him. And although Fraser played him great in the film, it was like a 2-minute, showing of it. They could have elaborated on it a little bit more in the series to go, maybe having an 8-part series instead of a 2-hour and 205-minute film.
That's true.
A little bit better. But I still like the film is good. It's just a very long film. But the book is, in my opinion, a little better. But I mean, you had a lot of material to work with. Shout out to Scorsese for even trying to do it. And Leo kind of made me more on his side just for making me hate him even more in this film. Robert De Niro is Robert De Niro. But it's just a great acting cast. and something that happened back in the day. I just didn't like the way he ended with the TV show, the radio show.
You might hate Leo a little more. He might win an Oscar this year. So
I haven't seen that film, so I mean, I hope he does.
that's the one they're kind of picking as being one of the better movies up there towards the top of the year.
I've heard it's probably one of the best films ever made, so it was when people are talking about it.
Really? I still honestly haven't sat down and seen it yet, so I gotta
like no BS. I've heard from, especially what's going on in the political climate. Like they say it's hilarious that this film was made in 2023. Like coming out with it was as far as the written about it and it was made, but the fact I've seen people say this is probably like Paul Thomas Anderson's best film, which is like crazy to me. But if it puts like There Will Be Blood, down a notch, it just makes me want to see even more. I haven't gotten around to see it because I want to sit down and actually enjoy it. And I heard Leo is phenomenal in it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I am looking forward to it. Jack says, I've been reading Reacher books a lot lately. I need to back up and listen to your thoughts. Yes, Jack, do that, my friend. They're awesome vacation books. The mailman gets vacations? No, but if you want to see a film that details the hardships of the Osage, check out Killers of the Flower Moon. Lily Gladstone still should have won that Oscar, Emma Stone, but I digress. The next film, though, is not as long, but is quite hilarious. Let's go on to that one, my man.
Make you proud to be Scottish!
It's shite being Scottish! We're the lowest of the low! The scum of the fucking earth!
Trainspotting, released in 1996, a book by Irvin Welsh, directed by Danny Boyle, who did 28 Days Later, 28 Years Later. He's Yesterday, Trance, Slumdog Millionaire, Steve Jobs, in 127 Hours. It stars Ewan McGregor, Ewan Bremer, Kevin McKidd, Johnny Lee Miller, Robert Carlyle, and Kelly MacDonald. It has a budget of $1.5 million and a box office of $16.9 million. Tone, tell me about Trainspotting.
It's one of those things again, because a lot of people always Tarantino. We always say Tarantino, Scorsese. But Danny Boyle makes some really good movies, and this is one of the ones that if he didn't get to make, I don't think he would have got to make things like 28 Years Later, Days Later, or Slumdog Millionaire, which won a bunch of Oscars and stuff like that. But this movie itself, I love the soundtrack, of course. Iggy Pop's Lust for Life will always play in my head, and I'll always think of Trainspotting when they're always running. But if you're going to compare the book to the movie, the book is like little short stories all put together by one person's perspective, where the non-linear, so they don't like all go in a row, where in this movie it's told linear, so it's like through a week or two. So that's what makes the book and the movie a little bit different from each other, is that but the movie's very, very exciting. I've seen so many directors since this movie's come out. You could take even Guy Ritchie and stuff like that, little things that you've seen. And I don't take it as stealing, actually. I take it as like, you're honoring somebody else by doing some of the things that make it work. And that's why it's great. But this movie really got started a huge trend. And honestly, you brought up Dr. Sleep. There is no Ewan McGregor in Dr. Sleep if I don't think this movie takes off the way it does. This is the movie that pretty much puts him on the map for the most part.
There's no Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And that too, no Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's got a movie that he actually does right before this with Danny Boyle. It's called Shallow Grave. Chris Eccleston is in it too. Great movie. But Ewan McGregor's a great actor. He doesn't get they don't talk about him as a great actor as much as they should. He's really good actor. And again, he could do a lot of different things. And this shows a little bit more of the younger, rebellious side. And the other actors in this movie are great too. Johnny Lee Miller does a great job in the movie. That guy who plays Spud, who I believe was in like Pearl Harbor, he's ridiculous. But just a fun movie. But also some really hard material, dealing with drug use and stuff like that. So it's heavy, but it's fun.
Yeah, extremely heavy. I like stuff like this. Like I like Danny Boyle because 28 Days Later was one of my favorite films, like that nobody ever heard of, And then you got Gorilla sampling it with the hello, and then eventually got bigger and bigger, which put Cillian Murphy on the map. Made him into a big star. But yeah, Ian McGregor is just a person that does not get his flowers, and he's slowly one of the best character actors out there. Can hide his voice very well in terms of his accent. I really liked him in Big Fish.
Great Big Fish. Didn't even think of that until
Yeah,
when I was
one of my
talking
favorite
about
films,
movies.
Big Fish. The Island. I really liked him in that film. He's hilarious, and I Love You, Philip Morris with Jim Carrey.
That's a good movie.
So
That's
I mean,
a good movie.
he has such a variety and
like-
range of different films. And
You
of
brought up
course,
Leo. Did you like The Beach?
not really.
Really?
It was okay.
I mean, it's not great, but
I
when's the last
think,
time you've seen it? Has it been a while since you've seen it?
Yeah, I think because I think when I watched it and I found out what The Beach was, I'm like, what?
What did it disappoint you as much as what you found out The Village was?
Oh hell no. No. The Village really disappointed me extremely. I looked really forward to that movie. No, I think Leo. I think with him, I think he got a lot. I think Titanic was praising him for that role, and I thought he was great in it, but I don't think he was Oscar worthy for that role. I think he was like up and coming, which is great. I think
Well,
Rachel
you give
Weisz,
me.
not Rachel
I
Weisz.
can give you a couple
mhm.
movies that nobody can touch him in, which I think makes you a great actor. Like I think The Wolf of Wall Street's one of the greatest movies that he's in, and I think that movie also was hugely Oscar, and that's also Scorsese.
Mhm.
I've watched The Aviator a lot recently. He's really good in The Aviator. When you got to play Howard Hughes, a character from the past, and again, Oscar nominated. Now, when you get to movies like what was that stupid one he did with Netflix?
Oh, that movie was bad. I know what you're talking. Not Don't Look Up or something like that.
Yeah, now that was not very good. Now, there's a couple more mixed in there. Now, is he as good as everybody says? No. You know what his problem is? One movie every 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's why when you come out with this Paul Thomas Anderson movie, it's got to be good. Because when the Netflix movie was his last movie, I'm pretty sure.
I thought one of his best movies, and my brother always constantly says this too, is Blood Diamond. I really liked him in Blood
Good
Diamond.
movie. But he's going into a acting territory that he doesn't usually do, which is usually a positive. It's back to Clint Eastwood. If you can keep doing different type of roles, that's what makes you a good actor. Look at De Niro. How many, he didn't really do that too much.
Well, I mean,
Grandpa, mobster. What else? I mean, he doesn't play a cop really, and if he does, it's stupid.
He was in Copland. Was he in Copland?
Yeah, he was. But he was more. He wasn't really a cop. He was more of an internal investigator. But he did a good job in that. He did a good Backdraft. He was that too. But he's come out with 60 movies.
But I do like my favorite movies of DiCaprio. If I have to go, like one, because it's one of the first movies I saw him in. What's Eating Gilbert Grape, phenomenal. Basketball Diaries, I thought he was awesome in. Now we going forward, I liked him in The Man in the Iron Mask. It's like one of my favorite movies. I don't care. I like that film. I actually think the two characters in there that play Porthos and Aramis are hilarious, along with John Malkovich. Although Gerard Depardieu is a horrible person, he's hilarious in that film. Those are my films I like him in. Inception, Shutter Island.
Honestly, when you talk about directing Marvels, you can't put The Revenant and what they did and how they filmed that movie and him not come.
Yeah, I thought it was phenomenal. He should have won an Oscar for that film.
Now that's the move, but then again, when you call people great, that's really tough when their career is still like, don't you think he still has another 20, 30 years? You know what I mean? let's not start. It's what's the line in Pulp Fiction? Let's not start sucking. No, I'm not going to say the whole thing right here. But he's good. He's really good at times. But then again, he could be overrated at times too.
The thing is,
I would pick Ewan McGregor over him because I feel Ewan McGregor is working with. Sometimes, honestly, he could be working with a lot less in the talent department, but he puts a lot more forth in his performance that overcomes that. Maybe. I don't know.
The thing is with Leo, like people are saying he's like one of the greatest actors of all time. And I can't really fault him for doing movies every few years because Daniel Day-Lewis, in my opinion, I know we had the disagreement, is like my favorite actor. I think he's probably the greatest actor in my generation. But he's only done certain films, you know what I mean? So I can't really hate Leo for doing that. I wish Leo would make more stuff. I wish, I want to see Leo. I would like to see Leo direct, to be honest with you. I want to see how he sees how a film should be. I mean, he's worked with the best directors.
I think there's something that, like, when you talk, like, for some reason, it's something that, I've heard before is that, like, when you look at your Redfords and your Dustin Hoffmans, they look more mature than sometimes Leonardo looks.
Mm-hmm.
Like Leonardo sometimes looks young still for his age. Young. I'm pretty sure he's in his 50s or he's pretty much closing in on to his 50s, Leo.
He's 51.
And does he look, I mean, I'm not.
Well,
that was about what my mom age was when she did not look that young. I'll be honest, and I love you, Mom. Yeah. But my point is that Leo is who Leo is, and
he's still got a career to go. He's still got a long way to go.
He's not as good as this next person we're going to talk about here.
No, he's not. But he did work with this person.
He did.
So,
Gee, you fooled him. You fooled them all.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, released in 1975. It's a book written by Ken Casey, directed by Milos Forman, who did Amadeus, The People vs. Larry Flint, Hair, Ragtime, Taking Off, and The Fireman's Ball. It stars Jack Nicholson, Louise Fletcher, William Redfield, Will Sampson, Brad Dourif, Christopher Lloyd, Danny DeVito, Michael Berryman, and Vincent Schiavelli. It has a budget of $3 million and a box office of $109 million. When we talk about books to movie adaptations, I think, in my opinion, this is one of the greatest ones ever. You have Louise Fletcher as Nurse Ratched, who is a fucking complete monster in her own right. And you have Jack Nicholson, who is a great character in the film, but he's actually not a great person for the crime he committed. He's in there for, graping. But I think he's just phenomenal in the film. I like the book a lot, but I like the film better. And I think it's because of Jack Nicholson's performance. The scene I play with him and Chief is when Chief actually mumbles something, because Chief is one of those characters that never speak. And then he mumbles something to him while they're eating some candy. And Jack Nicholson's joy of seeing that Chief is playing them all makes me laugh, because he hated the fact that they all kind of were subdued and became submissive to Nurse Ratched. He was always the outspoken one. He was always the one that was talking, and he was always the person that was disturbing the group. And to see that somebody else was doing it in their own way made him so happy. That's why I love that little clip of him doing that. Just film has just such phenomenal actors. Michael Berryman's great as Alice. You have Scatman Crothers as Turkle in here. Vincent Schiavelli, even though he plays a small role, is great. Danny DeVito, Christopher Lloyd, Brad Dourif, all small roles, but great job. Louise Fletcher and Jack Nicholson go head to head in a heavyweight battle between the two great actors. It's also a very sad ending of the film. And it won 5 Oscars, Tone. This film won 5 Oscars for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress. Brad Dourif was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in this film and Best Director. Just a great film. That is, I don't know if anything could be so much better and perfect than the book, if another movie can do that, I don't know if it's possible and win so many great awards like this one. It's one of Nicholson's best roles, in my opinion. What'd you think about it?
You said everything that I would repeat, that you said. It's great. It's one of the greatest. What's great about movies like this is when you can take like this little piece. Again, we said like after this movie, of course, there's been lots of movies that take place in like a place where people are trying to get help mentally, you know what I mean? Like, and honestly, but nobody has done it even closer, even half as good as what they've done. Because as you said, it's the characters, it's the acting, it's the directing, it's the film, it's the whole entire thing. To me, it's the Chief. Chief is Will Sampson did just a great job. And I remember seeing it for the first time, 15, 16, 14, 13, somewhere around there. And just being like, I love movies. This is why I love movies. Movies like this. Jack is great. And as the other Jack just said, the ending is haunting. The music that's playing. But the problem is it's like back to when we talked about the Outsiders earlier. There's life into this movie, like more than just these characters. Because when you say to yourself, you got one guy who's a loudmouth and he wants to be out of there. And you got another guy who just keeps his mouth shut, biding his time, doesn't say anything. Well, actually, who gets out? You know what I mean? And that's sometimes what happens. And that's why I always love the Chief. Because sometimes, being the loud one doesn't get you anywhere. But when you sit back and you measure the whole situation, and like he says in that scene right there, you fooled them all, Chief. You son of a bitch. And the way he smiles, the Chief, and you say to yourself, you watch that movie the first time, you didn't know that was coming. You didn't feel that was the Chief, what he was going to do. And that's why it's a great movie. It's got so much heart, and it's haunting at the same time. Haunting heart.
Yeah, and I mean that's a great summary of it. If you haven't seen a film, this film, I highly recommend it. The book is awesome too, but watch this film if you don't want to read the book. Like it's just phenomenal. Have you guys seen those Weird Al videos with the movie characters walking together with their present day actors? Weird
AI.
Yeah.
Weird Al. That's Weird Al.
That's Weird Al. I did a Little Big Man. I should have said A1. Yeah. No, I think I've seen some of them. Jack, but I haven't seen them recently. I've seen the ones where they do the how they morph into their older selves. But the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is phenomenal. Perfect. And it pulls at the heartstrings a lot because there's a lot of stuff that gets to you. Like Louise Fletcher was so into her role, and she knew such a horrible person she played in the movie. She couldn't watch the film for years. I mean, reading about this tone, looking through our notes, Danny DeVito was so like they all lived in the hospital ward, all the actors, to get in the character. And Danny DeVito had to create an imaginary friend that told him it's okay, everything's gonna be okay, and just know that I'm imaginary to keep him like sane, which is kind of ridiculous. It's a tough film, man. It's a lot of tough stuff it deals with. And
I think this next November we should maybe do a deep dive into it and talk about.
It's a film I've been wanting to do.
51 years it's been on this planet. It's great.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's definitely one I've been wanting to do a deep dive on. But check it out. One of my favorites. And we're gonna get into our last film, which is another hilarious film pick from the Sugar Baggie.
For this one, I'm thinking. When is this gonna stop?
High Fidelity, released in 2000, a book written by Nick Hornby. It was directed by Stephen Frears, who did Dangerous Liaisons. Every time I hear that, I think of that clip from Friends. I never liked Friends, but I've seen it on TikTok where like she claims this is her favorite movie, Dangerous Liaisons, but her real favorite movie is Weekend at Bernie's, which always makes me like The Queen, Philomena, Pretty Little Things, Liam, and The Grifters. It stars John Cusack, Ibn Halgili, I hope I said that correctly, Todd Luzio, Jack Black, Lisa Bonet, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Joan Cusack, and Tim Robbins appears. So Tim Robbins pulling double duty on this list. Had a budget of $30 million and a box office of $47 million. Tone, tell me about High Fidelity, my friend.
Again, good movie. The book is really good. I've watched the movie though than I've read the book. More than I've read the book, because generally when I read a book, I might go back and read it again. But with a movie, watch it a little bit more. But with this movie, definitely enjoy the. Well, I'll just start here with what Mailman Jack said. Catherine Zeta-Jones, her performance is pretty awesome in this movie. I like the way the movie goes through. Honestly, the movie's got a lot of heart because I really enjoy how he's able to go through these breakups and put the music with the breakups. Now, in the book, you don't get to hear the music. So, you know me, I love music. So, like, to be able to hear all these songs and hear it break down the way he breaks it down. And I'm going to give some mad props because I think this is one of JB's best performances, Jack Black. I think he is on fire in this movie. He's got a lot of good one-liners. Really hilarious. Just working in the record store. It's just a good movie for people who like, it's funny.
Did you see the movie cut the meaning of the novel off a little bit? The whole learning it's not what you like, it's what you like. It's still a great flick. Yeah. It's so this is like a I think of this film more as like a play. Because a play has those musical plays have music in them. And this film does a great job of blending in music with each, breakup of his. I love the fact that the guys at the record store, because it cracks me up because it reminds me of me, you, and Mailman Jack working there.
Yeah.
And how the kind of stuff that we would be talking about, the random shit. I love when Tim Robbins' character comes in.
Oh,
get
your patchouli smell
yeah
out of here.
He goes, "Hey, it's me, it's Ian." But the way he's dressed cracks me up because he has the long, gray hair and a ponytail. He's not a great, phenomenal actor. It's just so many good things in this film. And I remember when this was released, the way I think they advertise it like so incorrectly, because they advertise it so much as a this wacky comedy, which it does have a lot of comedy in it, but it's so much more than that. Like, the soundtrack's great, the cast is awesome, just a great ensemble. Everything you could ask for music heads and comedy, with romance in it. And shout out to John Cusack, because he really does a great job of in those romantic films where he's like the guy that gets heartbroken. He did this one. Better Off Dead was another one.
What movie do you like really quick? What movie do you like better? Do you like High Fidelity better or Gross Point Blank?
I actually like both of them a lot. I would probably say High Fidelity. Although I do like Gross Point Blank, but High Fidelity because I think I watched it more.
Yeah.
But I think probably High Fidelity, because I think it has more characters in it. Gross Point Blank got Ari Gold in it. I can't think of his name. Jeremy Piven, which is great.
And Aykroyd.
And Aykroyd and
as like a hitman.
Yeah. Popcorn. And what's her name? Minnie Driver, which I think is great. But I think High Fidelity just has more characters in it that I think I kind of would like a lot. But they're both very, very good films.
Awesome.
But this is a good pick, man. The book, like you said, is you can't really listen to the music in it. So there's a book like focus on films, records and vinyls more, or
it's what are you more into, like auditory? I mean, when you read the book, because the book is, you can make a 1,000-time argument that the book is a lot better, because like we always talk about, the words are more in there. But if you're someone who wants to just jam, the movie's got more songs, like actually hearing the songs per minute, than a lot of other movies that you generally would watch.
And it's one of those films too, I think, that does a great job of having it set in a cool place. Like, who wouldn't want to work at a record store or own one? You
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, that's very
Um,
true.
and I don't know. I just like that aspect of it. Funny thing is, Jack Black, you said is great in this film, and he turned down the role. They had to talk him into it, so good for him. But yeah, great film. Great job to end this one off with our 10 films that were books turned into films. Tone, close it out with High Fidelity. When I saw it, I laughed. Any final thoughts, my man?
A lot of good ones we covered tonight. Really good ones, and honestly, some of these I really want to go back now and read some of these books again. Even High Fidelity. It's been a couple years since I've read it, and it's time to reread it.
Yeah, definitely myself as well. Before we get into the Sugar Baggy soundtrack pick of the week to close out the show, just do some house cleaning here. Tone, tell us what's going on the hookup.
We got an episode coming up probably tomorrow or Sunday. But what we got the sad passing, which you sent me the message as you saw it. Steve Cropper passed away. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about some other little fun things along the way that we like to do. And that being said, just definitely please check in, because we're talking new music. We got some live guests coming up in a couple weeks, so just keep checking in.
Yeah, I really liked the episode you did with Brian the week that we couldn't do our show, which, hats off to you, man. That was a really, really entertaining episode. I watched it.
Thank you.
And then, you had Jack White and Meg White, the little white stripe toys. Yeah, that cracked me up when I saw that. I was like,
well, I even want to do that, and I didn't think of it. It was that's how I am sometimes. Like, I'll do something 100 times and then finally click, be like, let's try that. Even then here, like next time I go out, I see any kind of fun little movie stuff, ridiculous, I'm going to pull them up here and we could laugh. Because I didn't think of that until that day. Because I was actually, honestly, I was at Orland Mall. And I was like, oh, this is, okay, we'll get this, that, this. And then I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And also kind of, honestly, there's some really cool, it's giving me some cool backgrounds, like records and stuff for the show. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, check out the hookup. Steve, the Colonel Cropper, who, of course, was a big hit in the 50s and 60s. Of course, if you know him from the Blues Brothers band, but there's so much more, to his career. Kind of like when he died, I was like, oh man, he passed away. That sucks. Carrie Ogawa passed away. Shang Tsung. That sucks too. Which sucks. But yeah, man, our stars of the past are going. What else is going on, my man? What's going on in James Bond? You guys had a great episode yesterday, you and Adam. What'd you guys talk about?
We talked about a little movie that had the amazing Christopher Walken in it. We did James Bond. We've been doing that. Next time we're coming back in 2 weeks, and we're doing Timothy Dalton's first James Bond, License to Kill. T. Dalton. He will be back. The Beautician and the Beast will be in that stupid movie he did with Fran Drescher. But tune into that, because we're going deep into James Bond land. And Frame to Frame, that was really good this last time. Running Man.
Yeah, so me and Cotton came back for Frame to Frame to do the old 1987 film The Running Man versus the 2025 film Running Man. It was probably one of my favorite ones we've done, where I loved both films. I'm just going to tell you, I'll spoil it right now, but see why we loved it. It was, and Cotton came up with some new stuff for sequels, and he talked about a couple films. I was just like, Jesus Christ. So check that out. That's on our YouTube. Also, check out, it's getting drafty in here. He's going to have a new episode coming up. I believe this week, right, Tone? He said.
That's what he said.
For Brian, so it'll be coming out soon. I'm trying to see what the topic is. It's going to be music videos with the Jack, Mr. Mailman Jack, our resident mailman, and Zombie Jackie coming down. So that should be a good one. So check that out if you're into drafts. Check out our statisticpenguinstudios.com, where we have blogs and all the good stuff there. So be sure to check that out. Again, I'm going to plug the food drive for the Southside Food Drive. If you can donate $1, $1 equals 3 meals. Over, if you just all you gotta do is take a picture of the captcha on the screen, and check that out and help people out there. We raised $21,000 already for our $20,000 goal, but stuff's still happening, and you can still donate and help families out if you can. With that, Tone, since we got all of the housekeeping out of the way, let's close out this show, my friend, with the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week.
Let's do it.
The Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week.
Right. What do we got tonight here for you guys? We'll go to the Big Lebowski. Just checked in to see what condition my condition was in. Mr. The amazing Kenny Rogers dipping his toes into psychedelia. But this soundtrack's got a lot of good songs on it. You got lots and lots and lots of good stuff mixed in throughout the whole entire movie. Of course, you got the Creedence. You got to have the Creedence. The Creedence is definitely very necessary on this. But starting off, you got The Man in Me. I have always loved this Bob Dylan song. I love the way it's used in the movie. I think it is used actually pretty awesomely. But as you go through the soundtrack and you go through the movie, even the made-up bands in the movie, like Autobahn, that amazing band that was put together by your favorite bass player of all time, Flea, who incorporates the movie, just does a really good job. For me, especially like in college, I'll never forget just how many people I heard play that. I just checked in to see what condition my condition was in, and me just not knowing that was actually the Gambler, because and just really memorable performances. We've talked tonight about John Goodman and Steve Buscemi, and they're both in this movie. So again, tonight, in my head, I feel like we've had the most connections between movies and everything else that we've ever had on this show. So the soundtrack is a good one. It's got a lot of classic songs. It's got Elvis Costello, which is really a good track. It also has Nina Simone, who's really good, Henry Mancini, Townes Van Zandt, his cover of Dead Flowers, which is a Rolling Stones track. Really awesome. Of course, the Gypsy Kings Hotel California. I almost forgot. That will always be remembered in my mind forever. Mr. Jesus dancing as that plays in the background. Gypsy Kings are actually an awesome band. Lots of really good music. And to be fair, I would never have known them and listened to them more if I didn't hear this Hotel California first in this movie. So kudos to the Big Lebowski for showing me some of this awesome music.
Yeah, for one, a weird damn movie, but it's got Duke Ellington on this. I Got It Bad, It Ain't That Good. Great track. Of course, the Kenny Rogers performance just dropped in. Have you ever seen the film Faster?
With The Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually used that scene of that soundtrack clip of just dropped in with Billy Bob Thornton when he's high. I always think of that, like that one and the Big Lebowski are my two favorite usages of that song, because like I like how he's so high and he's walking in, because it just goes with the music.
Yeah.
And then I'll always remember, Jeff Bridges dancing on the stairs and getting his bowling shoes from Saddam Hussein. Even as a kid, I'm like, why is Saddam Hussein this? But it's a great film, great soundtrack. And I do like The Man in Me. I'm not a big Bob Dylan guy, unfortunately. I mean, I think he's a great poet, but he's hit or miss for me. But I do love The Man in Me. I think it's a great tune. But I am a big Elvis Costello fan, so I guess that says much about me, huh?
You like good music, you do. So,
but yeah, definitely great pick, Tone. Great soundtrack.
Thank you.
All right, so that is our film, and Cotton, we went over the 2.5 hour mark just for you. Thank you everybody for listening, watching. and even just taking your time to check in with us. We really, really appreciate. We'll be back next week on Friday, God willing, with some great movie awesomeness. Be sure to check out our other shows, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to the At the Show podcast, a Sadistic Penguin Studios production.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?